in. I know we are a little late per our standard, but we're just in time for Wall Street. So we got an interesting day ahead. We talked about it a lot yesterday on the watch list. So I hope you guys are ready for it. You know what to look for in terms of SEP. And then there's just a lot of different headlines, and you got a lot of Trump headlines here to wake up. And there's a couple of different events. So besides that, what I would be paying attention to, anything credibility wise, the data that you got in the morning, you got a little bit of it, but it's not anything crazy. Like I said, if the retail sales is too credible, too good, that might not be as good. And that's a little bit of what happened. You're on the cusp of too hot and not. So we're going to find out. But Chatadonia, what's the noise? We got 1 minute until the bell. So yeah, like I said, a little late per our standard, but according to Wall Street, this is right on time. So I do take that how you please, my friends. But I hope you are doing good. I don't have any Josh AI for you. I don't think there is time for Josh AI. Again, like I said, retail sales, they came up a little bit, 0.6 versus 0.2. You had a little bit on import prices going up versus the decrease. Like I'm saying, it was hot activity. Could be viewed as a little uncredible because it was so hot. But then again, good is better than what people were thinking not too long ago. And then other than that, you're getting ready. The FOMC, Trump did put in, what's his name? Moran. So like we said, he's literally going to affect the terminal rate because he's probably going to be a crazy dot. So we have 30 seconds left. I'm going to be watching Workday, Ralph Lauren, GitLab, Lumen, Levi, Oracle. We're a little late here, but if you watched yesterday's watch list, I think you have a whole list of 20 plays. So good luck, baby. Let's have a good time. God bless America. And Chatadonia, if you need anything, let me know. And God bless the veterans. It was nice to see you guys actually staying the pledge still. I really do appreciate that. So God bless the veterans, baby. That's round 1. Let's get it, my friends. Let's get it. I know, we wake up, we say, Alu, how are you? You know. Okay, that's closed. A lot of the material plays are closed. Certain things are not opening up. The oracles, I made a couple oracle plays. Oh, they went up. Nice. So make those free before the market maker comes and takes it. Feels like this is like a child's, what's it called? It's like a child's story. It's a child myth of the market maker. Oh, if you don't take profits, he'll come and take it. Oh, watch out. No. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, oracles made free at 100. I do the same. The bid isn't there, but it'll fill. They're fucking with you, bro. Yeah, it'll literally, the bid is 500%, but it'll fill you at 150% on the bid on the oracle. That's dope. Other ones aren't open. Again, a lot of the materials, nuclear. There is one of the things we talked about, I think Financial Times, and then they have a conference as well as the benchmark nuclear. Not filling. Oh! Little scammers, bro. Alright, I only got one not filling right now. Let's see. Problem is NATO and EU countries on oil. Trump is talking right now. Okay. The thought up for CMG. Dude, we had a good talk on Chipotle last night. I really like it. Again, they did a $500 million buyback, so here we are. All right, I did another play. We made Oracle free. I don't know. I don't want to know if we go too crazy. Like I said, yesterday, we didn't really have too many hitters. That Oracle was one of those plays, but we didn't get to make money on it yesterday. We got to make money on it this morning, so we won't force it. We have our whole list as well. Again, you can watch the watch list. Some of them are going to be a little later. And then just take note of what already reported. Like PPG, that was on the list, undefined time. I don't have anything on that yet, but that barely moved. GM was on the All-Stars. They're up by 0.6. So nothing has been too crazy. Do I think we're cutting into this good economy? I think the economy is like a nice shade of neutral right now, a little bit stronger, and then everybody is lying about it, so we don't really know. Hence why we play the credibility game. Everybody's a goddamn liar, and God is good. So amen. But that's the issue that we have. So I think Biden was a liar about the economy, and then Trump was like,
wow, I could do that. That's good. That's good. Let's get it. Wow, amazing. I want it at 0.
So yeah, we'll see. But I just don't think we know. We don't fully know where the economy is at. We have a general idea, but at the same time, you know, people have had many general ideas about the economy that have not materialized as such. That's why. Oh, those UUUs, man. I forgot. Let's see if they're still up. Good morning. Tesla's on the low. Eli Lilly, again, there was a diabetes conference yesterday. They didn't get too many headlines. And then NASDAQ is barely green. SPY's barely green. Russell, dude, everything's 0.06, 0.09. Wow. It's actually really tiny comparatively. Depending on how this moves in the next 30 minutes, you're going to find out if this is a unique day or not, my friends. Because, yeah, I don't think we've really moved like this to start out. It's been like quarter point, half a point. But, yeah, you're moving at 0.06 and you're holding within where you opened up yesterday. It's amazing. Tesla coming down. CNC's on the way up. Again, a couple of medical plays, except UNH. I don't know if that's a bad one on your boy in the whole Trump thing. Oh, no, some of them flipped. Never mind. I had one going up. Core Weave now. Yeah, Cigna's the one. Cigna and Elevance are going up. UNH and CNC just flipped. Google on the low. Oracle's bouncing back up again. Again, the Oracles are weird premiums. You might actually be able to make money, like I'm telling you. I made a play on them yesterday. They didn't really go up. And then today they just shot up. But, like, you have to put a bid in. So that's opportunity. It's opportunity to get scammed or you're going to scam the market maker. Just wide spreads, more or less, which means if they fall in your favor, you're going to make money off them. If they fall against you, then you're going to pay, Habibi. You pay for it. You pay lots of money. Lot of money. You know? Oh, and then TTD didn't do jack shit. And here we are. Yeah, TTD, the front run and the reaction, that one didn't work. So, I think next time we front run the fucking minutes before. None of the early front runs worked except Oracle, but that one wasn't off of the calendar. Tesla, TLT as well. Get ready for that. So small movement, SPY, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell and Dow or NASDAQ are going red right now, but then bonds are about to go green. Open door, EL. It's a big week, man. I even said it yesterday. In general, too. I don't know if your parents are asking you about rate cuts. My mom brought it. She said, is the rate still high? And I got to tell her it's going to be cut on Wednesday. So I do think this is going to be a checkpoint. That's tomorrow. Woo! The NVIDIA event, there's a couple. I mean, there's a lot of like robotic stuffs going on in China. And then I don't know if they're going to meet up again in Madrid. And then there's something for the end of November. So we're not a meeting, but the next time they meet, they're either going to agree to meet in end of November or not. Or push another delay too. Yeah, there's Oracle. RKLB. Is there a chance it's more than a quarter point? Unless something dramatic happens by today or tomorrow, I think it's going to be a quarter, but then that could change shortly thereafter. I would watch the watch list. Credibility surprise is what you're looking for. And no one's really talked about this. I don't think you've heard the two words credibility surprise really packaged to you on Wall Street yet. So that is what I would break it down as. Remember, you guys know, you already know the rate cuts. Let me put it this way. There's two groups of people on Wall Street, this week and then coming into tomorrow. One group is going to be, asking if there's rate cuts. And then another group is going to be looking ahead because they already know there's rate cuts and exactly by how much. So it's up to you guys. But I would start looking ahead to some of the other things because although it is a big question of whether or not we cut rates, we already have that answer. So I wouldn't get stuck on it too much. Like the quarter point, half a point, it doesn't matter as much as kind of what's finally got us here to move and then the path forward. All right, you're still going down slowly. Microsoft now, I mean, I haven't even seen a Mag 7 go down in how long? There's Apple, Google's even dropping. They're barely red. Chipotle. It's only up 1% on 500 million buyback. It was up a little stronger. Meta's running. That's good because not too much is in the green right now. So yeah, Meta is running. Oracle. Intel barely green. That was near 25. Came down. Allen. What up, baby? Oklo going on the high. Who's the other one? NNE. So again, they're at the conference. They didn't move. What else do we got? Oh, dude, IRM. I forgot. Lumen. Your dad asked you about getting into crypto. That's usually your bear indicator. That's it, man. Crypto. What's the other one? Oracle again. The Fed doesn't shift unless something's broken. Believe me, guys, I'd love you, and I agree with you, but unfortunately, the reason like some of these things don't really apply is because Powell broke every rule already. So let me put it another way. We all believed usually the Fed only reacts when something is broken. And I agree with that. I've taught some of you that. And I do think that is true. But the problem you had a rate cut, a double rate cut last year. The yield curve uninverted and nothing broke. And here we are. So the problem is like we've seen major like cuts and major raises and how that's defined shifts in economies, but this like subtle stop and go, the weird cut and hold higher for longer, and the way they've did it, you know, even with the politics, it just, you know, it is it's been different. I mean, it's just been very, very different. Like, because again, we did this exact scenario 1 year ago. If anything, you're going to get a smaller rate cut probably. Remember, September was a 50 basis point rate cut because Elizabeth Warren wanted it. I mean, what? But no, she did. But the whole point is that it's still like, what do you mean? Wait, what do you mean we're about to... the Fed cuts rates when something breaks, and then they did, and then a year later we're up 50%. And then the economy has not changed, and we don't even know what metrics are accurate or not. So, yeah, that's the problem, is that the last 4 years, but especially even the last year, there was a couple of things with how the Fed moved and, you know, the age-old rules of the Fed that people knew, like myself, just the way they did it so weird and broken that you kind of are in a little world of your own, hence why people have been so confused and baffled about bonds. Trump, Fed should listen to the people. I don't understand the what's it called though. I really don't get his purpose with the quarterly reports. So Apple and Meta are going, judge dismisses serious merger charge against Mangione. Oh, you fucking idiots. Dude, we're getting a civility. Because these guys are fucking idiots. Judge dismisses most serious murder charge against Mangione. I think he's still gonna get charged, but so in the middle of like, you know, public figures getting, you know, executed live on television through a bullet, they're like, yo, I think we should drop one of the charges of the other kid who started some of the whole murder people in public. All right, and here we are. You thought last week was bad? Wait till you see this week. You thought you were bothered? Wait till you see what we have in store next. We saw you guys were outraged by a lot of murder and disturbing the peace. So what we decided to do was drop charges on the other murderer. Happy holidays. What the fuck? That's not even a hot dog! This... Well, here you are. What a fucking... Dude, yeah. What time is it, bro? It's 9:16. What is this judge? They were like, yeah, today's the day. Oh, man. Trump, Gaza, I don't know much about it. We'll have to see. How? Is Trump live? I keep getting these headlines. I see Kash Patel. All right, bonds too. Again, that's still flirting. Everything's still tiny. I mean, actually, Nasdaq's at 0.01 SPY. That's your Apple, Meta, and everything else holding you down. So just watch out. Wait, there's new contracts. Oh, Trump denies he compromised on 15% auto tariffs. We have a group of companies that want to buy TikTok. CMG. Excuse me. I don't know if Trump,
people in the chain of command.
this is your Mr. Patel.
Three, we are on a rolling basis providing Congress the documents that we can, and we will continue to do so.
Okay, thank you very much, Senator Durbin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, in addition to the extensive purge of nonpartisan
I think he's already on the plane.
FBI official reports indicate that dozens of
Yeah, he
remaining
was just live
officials
though.
have been subjected to polygraph exams to test their loyalty. My understanding is that approximately 40 officials have been asked to sit for a polygraph during your administration, and several have been asked whether they have ever made negative comments about you. Director Patel, FBI agents pledge their loyalty to the Constitution of the United States, not you personally. What is the basis for requiring polygraph exams of your workforce and asking them if they've made negative comments about you?
I don't know what reports you're referring to, Ranking Member, and I reject any reporting that has false information in it, so I'm not going to respond to that. As far as polygraphs go, generally they are always and always have been utilized at the FBI to track down those that leak sensitive information and have unauthorized disclosures to the media, and we will continue to use them to ensure the integrity of the FBI.
Did any individual on your senior executive team, the director's advisory team, or who serve in the positions on the 7th floor receive disqualifying alerts on their polygraphs?
Senator, I'm not going to get into the personnel discussions that were had on a polygraph. Those are private discussions, and many of them relate to ongoing investigations.
Did you or Attorney General Bondi provide any individual with a waiver so they could remain employed after they received disqualifying alerts on their polygraphs?
I'll have to get back to you.
You don't remember that?
No, sir. My priority is protecting the American public, not getting into the weeds of polygraphs.
And to have a decent memory when you come before a committee.
I'm happy to talk about all the good work the men and women of the FBI are doing, including provided the lowest crime rate in American history.
Said,
if you want to talk
have
about how
a
to protect the
decent
citizens,
memory.
Chicago has seen a 30% reduction in its murder rate because of the men and women of the
You
FBI.
take credit for
I'll
that?
happily do that.
You
The
take
interagency partners and the men and women of the Chicago PD have never been more
include
powerful.
local law enforcement, please.
Have you ever
Who is
seen my
this
testimony across
congressman?
this country where I always lead
Yeah, it's
with
probably getting
our
a little bad.
interagency partnerships with state and local law enforcement?
He says, Trump says, looks like we'll have to sit in a room with Zelensky and Putin. It's weird because they're getting the comments in. Last video I saw was Trump getting on the damn plane. But yeah, you're getting that more. And then Luigi, there's a court thing happening now. The timing is funny. Yeah, I don't know what Turb is. That one's going crazy. But these Trump comments saying Zelensky and Putin hate each other. They have to sit in a room together, he says. KBR and LMT. What's the other one? All right, Spy still dropping. Even Oracle came down. I don't know. What's it? RGLD, I think. Yeah, Tesla, a little pop too. It may be replayed. They're showing him outside the helicopter. Let's see. Where's your boy? Yeah, it says moments ago. It is a little delayed.
Stop sending people from your prisons into our country. They're sending their prisoners. They've done that already. So the numbers just came out. Another month with 0 people getting into our country. And these are figures, John, with people like you that would like me to do badly. Nobody has ever done on the border like I've done.
Mr. President, what will you tell President Zelensky if you meet with him in New York?
Well, he's going to have to get going and make a deal. He's going to have to make a deal. Zelensky's going to have to make a deal. And Europe has to stop buying oil from Russia. Okay? You know, they talk.
Apple and Tesla, both of them, and then Meta. Half the Mag 7 is like not moving, the other half is Apple, Meta, Tesla. But SPY's still dropping.
How much wealthier are you now than when you returned to the White House?
Well, I don't know the deals I made for the most part, other than what my kids are doing. You know, they're running my business. But most of the deals that I made were made before. And that's what I've done for a life. I built buildings. Like I'm building a building here. You know where I built? You know what? You see that area? Yeah. That is going to be the greatest ballroom anywhere in the world. And for 150, so it gives me pleasure
Tesla on the high
to
now.
do it for the country. And I'm paying for it. I'm paying for it.
What is going on with Snap?
And that's an expensive ballroom. I think it'll cost $250 million, and it will be, I think, the finest ballroom. So for 150 years, John, you know this? They've wanted a ballroom, and now they're going to finally have it. And it's going to knock your socks off.
Weed stocks, too, MSOS.
President Trump that a president in office should be engaged in so much business activity.
Well, I'm really not. My kids are running the business. I'm here. You know what the activity, where are you from?
I'm from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Four Corners program.
Well, the Australians, you're hurting Australia, right? In
Oh,
my
it's probably
opinion,
TikTok.
You are hurting Australia
Every
very
time,
much
remember?
Right now. And they want
Every
to get
time there's
along with
TikTok
me.
shit,
You know,
Snapchat goes up.
Your leader is coming over to
I
see
think
me.
that's the only thing I
soon.
can think
I'm
of.
going to tell him about you. You set a very bad tone.
Well,
Go ahead, John.
Maybe you could
Google on the low.
The UAE does a deal. What does it want in return?
Quiet.
Mr. President, what are you hearing about the operation in Gaza, the Israeli operation? Are you concerned?
Well, I'm hearing that they want to go in, and I'm also hearing that Hamas wants to take our 20 hostages plus dead bodies. You know, they have about 32 of them, and they want to put them in the way of any attack. And nobody's happy about that situation. It came out yesterday. I'm sure you saw that. They want to, supposedly they've taken the hostage out of deep caves and tunnels, and they're bringing them, putting them on the front line. Nobody's heard of that one for a few centuries.
You saw that the UN said that Israel is guilty of genocide, that have committed acts of genocide in Gaza.
They voted on that?
They have a new report out saying multiple acts of genocide.
When it comes to a vote, we'll see what happens. That'll come to a vote, but we'll see what happens.
And what do you make Pam Bondi saying she's going to go after hate speech? Is that, I mean, a lot of your allies say hate speech is free speech.
We'll probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC. Well, ABC paid me $16 million recently for a form of hate speech, right? Your company paid me $16 million for a form of hate speech. So maybe they'll have to go after you. Look, we want everything to be fair. It hasn't been fair. And the radical left has done tremendous damage to the country. But we're fixing it. We have right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. And remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead. And now Washington, D.C. is fixed, and I fixed it. The mayor was fine. The mayor was just fine, okay? The mayor had the sick city for many years. He's been mayor for many years. The one that fixed it was me and my people, and it is so safe. You should take your beautiful wife tonight and have dinner down there. You won't be shot. You won't be accosted. You won't even be looked at incorrectly by anybody. Washington, D.C. is safe. Now we're going to Memphis, where it's pretty rough, to put it mildly. And then we're going to have to go. A friend of mine who is a big railroader, he stops in all the cities. He knows every city. He said, sir, you have to save Chicago. So I'm going to go to Chicago early against Pritzker. Pritzker's nothing. If Pritzker was smart, he'd say, please come in. So last week, over the last week and a half, 11 people in Chicago were killed, murdered, and 38 were shot. And then Pritzker, and by the way, this is going on constantly. If they lose less than 6 or 7 people a week with murder, they're doing a great job in their opinion. Chicago is a death trap, and I'm going to make it just like I did with D.C., just like I'll do with Memphis. Now, remember this. So a man comes into my office, one of the biggest businessmen. I'll tell you, he runs Union Pacific. Is that big? Biggest railroad in the world, I guess. And he started off as a railroader. He was running a railroad, a little caboose. He was in a caboose. Now he runs the whole damn thing. 45 years ago, he started off in a caboose. I don't know what that's all about. And he became...
Yeah, he loves trains. Amtrak.
He came in. He knows the country intimately. He's looking to do a merger by another railroad, the one that where it have the little problem in East Palestine, right? And they want to buy that railroad, as you know. It's pretty public. But I sat with them and I talked. I said, so you know every city? Yes, sir. I go into every city, and I have for 45 years. I said, where would you go next? He said, St. Louis is in big trouble. He said, but Chicago is a great city. You can save Chicago, sir. Don't let Chicago die. This is the guy telling me with great knowledge and stuff. He said, don't let Chicago die, sir. It's dying. Don't let it die. I'm going to Chicago next.
The UAE, Mr. President. What do you think they want when you do a deal with federal charges?
Well, I just want something to happen, whether it's federal, state, and most likely it's going to be state. The question is whether or not we overlap with a federal judge. So they're looking at that. But the state is very confident. The governor's doing a very good job. As you know, they have the death penalty. It's a tough death penalty, too, as you know. But they have the death penalty. So as to whether or not we judge, we will be working with them. We may or may not be able to judge.
And when it comes to the governor of Utah, what do you make of his overall message of nonviolence?
Well, I agree with it. I agree 100%. But most of the violence is on the left.
KDP, we talked about that one last night.
What?
Do you agree with that? The Utah governor said that social media is a cancer and more people should log off and take some time away.
Well, it's not a cancer in all respects. In some respects, it's great. But there are segments, there are deep, dark holes.
President Trump there speaking to reporters a little bit earlier.
Said, cut it off!
Heads to the UK
No, we're not going to take the final question on social media being cancer. Why? Are you? Anyways. Not bad, not bad. It was a little older there. Again, I think all you took out from it, more Russia problems, dude. I don't think you guys realize. Remember just a couple weeks ago, we had the whole, like, you know, come visit, smiling in the Cadillac, and then nothing happened, which is kind of surprising. So, and then they're pushing the EU countries. So there's that. I think Trump has been very quiet on the whole, you know, people post clips, like, every time he gets asked about Charlie Kirk, he, like, brings up other stuff, and, like, I think he doesn't want to talk about the situation because it's fucked up. And I think there's a part about it that they don't want to disclose. Other than that, he was talking Venezuela. I think Russia was the main point. And then the China deal, I don't know. But then again, I mean, TikTok and recirculating a TikTok deal. I mean, we've been doing that since fucking Biden was the president, for crying out loud. So here we are, my brethren. Here we are. So good morning. You're near the low. It's very small, at least on SPY and Dow. Again, you got a couple Mag 7 doing their thing for you. Apple, Meta, Tesla. But it is the lead up into tomorrow. But most of the data, like I said in the morning, I think it was a little less credible just because it was strong. It was too strong. Retail sales was very, very hot. Oh, yeah, you have your other boy right now, too. Mr. Patel. Intel over 25. Luigi, bro. I can't believe it. Yeah, Intel's... Oh, Bradley Frizzle! That's what I can't believe! Are you kidding me? Y'all should be honoring consistency every day. Can I go put Bradley Frizzle on an H&M commercial? Because I will. I will. Peach Nation. Horna! That's my guy, bro. That's my guy, Peach Nation. They said, what would it take to be the Peach? I said, I don't know. But I know it requires consistency. Everything, I don't know. Oh, man, look at Tesla. Even Tesla was like, I love Bradley. I love Bradley. When I'm not using my AI girlfriend, I go to Stock Market Live and I see Bradley Frizzle on the page. Yeah, thank you. And then we gotta stop government spending. I don't think we can even save government anymore. So give me money for defense. What? Amen. Will the real Bradley Frizzle please stand up? We're gonna have a problem here. Y'all act like y'all never seen a Peach before. Y'all's on the floor like Bradley Frizzle just walked through the door. Oh wait, he didn't just buy what I think he bought, did he? And what did Josh say? Nothing, you idiot. Josh is buying and then he showed you what the... Ah, look at him, sick of him, walking around, grabbing his Peach, flipping the who, who. Yeah, but it's so cute, though. He probably got a couple of peaches in his head loose, but no worse than Josh the Humper. What? My pizza's on your lips. My pizza's on your lips. All right, I'm sorry. I don't know how Slim Shady got involved in this.
Vote for Kamala.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, shit. How did 8 Mile get... What the fuck? How we go from fuck the free world to... Never mind. All right, man. Peach Sadie. Weed stock's still going. Yeah, Intel did come up. I don't know where any of the other chip makers are. Microsoft, dude. Microsoft's funny, man. Half max, 7 up, half down. Let's go get a checkup. See what we're working with. U.S. India to step up efforts for early conclusion of trade pact. UNH getting clobbed. It was already clobbed. Yeah, Dow, you only have 9 names in the green, 21 in the red. NASDAQ 100, 49 green, 52 in the red. And then S&P 500, 170 in the green, 330 in the red. So it's not bad on some of the indexes, but generally everything is there. A couple of value plays are coming up, man. At least Philip Morris's. What's the other one? Yeah, PG and J&J are up. It's a weird mix. It's nothing like the last couple days. This is a slow day. This is a slow day. Everything kind of has a drag. Apollo exploring sale of AOL. Nice. I did not know they owned it. Who is going to be the buyer and why? Value AOL at $1.5 billion. Do I come up with these remixes on the spot? I do, yes. You know, sometimes I think of them prior, but yeah, they're all on the spot. I only say that because my girlfriend looks at me weird when like I remix a song and I'm like, that's a good one. That's a good one. I should use that. Uh-oh, what's this? Turb again. This one, no idea. This is the small cap pump of the day. Just foreign. I know there's a couple, there's 1 or 2 energy conferences, but they're all US. But this one's ADR. You've got mail. What? No iRobot. No, I see that literally right now. And then oil too. Let me see. You have cash, but you're scared. So Sarah, I love you. But like, you've been saying that for half a decade now. So don't drop that shit in my chat. And I want you to be free with no fear. Amen? Amen. Amen. I don't see anything on Robot. I mean, that's the good part, bro. I mean, for real though, you guys got to realize, for some of you, especially if I don't bother you and I've known you for so long, it's a good thing that I legitimately I remember what you've said and like how you've behaved. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I say it in a way where like, I was just having a talk with the person who made me an offer on the farm, who wanted to buy it. We were talking about other stuff, and we were discussing how I was like, you need to track when you're right and you need to track when you're wrong. All of you do. Or you need to know when you're correct. Your intuition. You need to know what character and ideology you've lined up with and how it has the dividends of it, essentially, you know? And that's where I've been saying a lot of these things, and I'm just like, I think it'll help you guys, where it's like, if you've been on the same pathway for a long time, and some of you done good, like I know Sarah, you got a long term, I know you got the crib, I don't think you made bad decisions, but I do think that timidness, the cash, thinking the market is always going to crash and being scared, you've been like that for 5 years. So it's like, those are the things where you should all track it. And I hope if I see something in any of y'all that has been the same like that for that long, I do want you to see it, because I want you to track and be able to realize, is that serving you or not? So that fear, that timidness, if that, was it right to be timid? When was it? Because that's, you have to think about it. Only reason why your brain wants to be timid is because you were timid at some moment, and your brain said that was a good idea, and it was rewarded, and you're like, wow, thank God. But then what happened? There has to be then what happened, and know what the full story is, so that you could give your brain the right info of what, because again, your brain's just trying to protect yourself, right? Keep you out of danger. That's why fear comes into play. But it's like, well, yeah, the fear only helped for like a week, and then after that, it backfired against me. That's where we have to figure that out. Well, amen, bro. Amen. Amazon now. I was already up a little bit. Amazon Prime Video to debut as broadcaster of the Masters in 2026. I don't know if that's big enough to move it, but I guess golf. Medtronic, a couple of these value plays. Koi now on the low. Yeah, Eco, everything's kind of dumping now. It's getting pretty bad. Russell and Dow are down by 0.6, 0.4. But then Eco 8's down by 0.4 as well. Now, if Amazon, if the ones like Microsoft and the ones that are down go up before you know it, I think your only shot might be Mag 7, but it is early. Turb halted. Yeah, I have no idea what it is. India statement on team led by assistants. Disney Universal sue Chinese AI startup Minimax. What? India decided to intensify efforts to achieve early conclusion of mutual beneficial relationship. Turb got a solar deal in Spain for energy. Oh, thank you. It had to do with a Bad Bunny concert. Tons of new subs for Amazon. That I didn't hear about, but that in a weird way makes more sense than the PGA Tour moving it in my mind. Do I have views in fixed income? I mean, it depends, but yeah, I like bonds. I like fixed income, but there's a limit. Ooh, Turb. It's literally the whole entire high ticker. Should there be a ratio of equities to fixed income if you're older? But I don't think you have to follow that. I think you should just always get the best deal. And, you know, I think you should diversify and never really go overboard with anything. I don't think you need to diversify between fixed income and non-fixed income, especially if you're not older trying to live off of it. But anything after that, I mean, I don't think you have to diversify too hard in terms of assets within the asset. You know, if you're in the market, you're dealing with paper, I don't care too much about fixed income or not fixed income. I care about the value and what it's providing. It's like when I buy real estate, like I don't buy apartments and townhouses just so I could have like a different of the same thing. That's how I view fixed income. But fixed income is important. I have a dividend portfolio. We make sure we go for certain yields. So I think a little bit of everything in diversification, it'll get the job there. Why is the payout ratio over 100% for REITs? Because they have to. So if REITs don't pay out 95% of their profit, and then they have general expenses and overhead stuff, but if they don't pay 95% of their profit out, then they lose their REIT tax status, because REITs do not get taxed. So when these companies go and make these, they get billions of dollars and go buy a bunch of property and manage them, they are not taxed on the profits if they're returning over 95% or 90% of the money to shareholders. So the shareholders get taxed for the company, but the company does not get taxed. So by nature, a REIT must pay out all of its money practically. Otherwise, it's not a REIT. And that's why people like REITs too, for future reference, because then that way you understand, people believe in it as fixed income and getting money, because if you buy a REIT, it's paying you income every quarter, every month. There's Amazon again. Yeah, it's not. This is the second. Like I said, I think we'll probably go over it when we get to everything, but it's just go look at the action chart. Intel. But if you go look at the chart of just the history of rate cuts, you'll see it. But this is the second one in the cycle. And you could argue that a pause was a move and that way it resets it, but I don't believe that. You just go look at the chart just over the last 50, 100 years. It's either cut, raise, or nothing, and this is the second cut. So that's what is very interesting, because I told you guys you're gonna hear a lot of people talk about it and say that it's they're saying this is the first cut, but I just don't think that's accurate. Rate cuts due to the long term, many things. This is the problem. That's what I was saying earlier, where I'm like, you guys got to realize Powell has been playing by his own rules. The last couple years have been very different. A lot of historical Fed shit has not materialized how most people would have thought. So, like I'm saying, even what happens to bonds, this is what I kept bringing up, because this was your first rate cut of the cycle. You had a massive front run, and then right afterwards, even though they cut rates, the rates went up. So this never happened in history. You know that? So you're asking me, what does rate cuts do to the long term? Believe me, I have an answer and I would love to tell you, but I can't say that that's accurate, because what we've already lived through in this cycle and what you've seen, you had a rate cut and then never in history have the long end of bonds gone up 100 basis points in 100 days. Never. So 3 months later, after a rate cut to start off a cycle, never has the long end shot up how it has. So that's like I'm telling you, I have an idea of, rates, and we talked about small caps, REITs, we talked about biotechs and, locking in dividends and getting certain things. But the fact of the matter is that you have already lived through this almost verbatim. You had a double cut last year and it did not produce what you would have thought. So that's your risk coming into tomorrow and the next few days and weeks. That's why I'm saying be on the lookout for a credibility surprise. What caused this was credibility. And what caused this was people not believing it, the politics, and a lot of factors, or maybe just Joe Biden lost, or Kamala. But either way, it's like that is your risk right now. Is it could go any which way. Oracle. Yeah, spot goal above 3,700. What caused the long end? The lack of credibility. That was people saying it was the bond vigilantes first, and then the media for at the moment to not after really, and then after Kamala lost, they really started saying no way Donald Trump, and then that's what led into the get very terrified about tariffs narrative, and then we recovered and we're still there, and then that's why it wasn't until last week they started to change their mood on the credibility, and that's what I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, so it's the long end simply because people were doubting it. But that was the first cut. So this is our second one. And given how the first one was historically broken, that's the fucked up part. That's what you guys got to realize. So if this is the second cut of the cycle, which I believe it is, that means you're operating off of that fucked up history I just showed you. So that means the first cut in the cycle broke the long end, went up 100 basis points in 100 days, never happened in history. So what's going to happen on the second cut? At the same exact spot. Literally at the same exact spot. Yeah, GLD, bro. Woo. Intel debt. Yeah, I mean, it only affects them when they don't make as much money. So just remember, you saw Intel. Like, remember, Intel was actually doing pretty good right when Pat the Rat got in, right before, you know, because their revenue didn't make their debt look bad. So when they sell and when they get good revenue, Intel doesn't look that bad. But then when the fucking money stops and then you have fucking 50 years, 40 years of debt, it fucks you up. And that's where I think they're at now. That's why the only problem with Intel, I think they could even survive with the high debt, low revenue, because they have good things. But the only problem, they need demand. That's what we were even saying from the government deal down to Louboutin. They need demand. And if they get that demand up, I mean, I'm not too worried about it. But if not, then, you know, a couple more years of low revenue and high debt, then that situation gets more dire. Do I think the economy is a little weaker than the last cut? I just think they're all the same, unfortunately. And I say that where it's the same, but for the last 4 years, 5 years, it's been good, but then I think there's a bad part we don't know about. We saw it in Biden, we saw it during the banking crisis, we saw it during Jackson Hole, we saw it at end of 23 and leading even into the election in 24. You see these little bubbles of like, oh shit, there's a bad pocket of the economy, but then you last 4 or 5 years, everyone's spending, the capex, the rich people, they're still adding to it. So it's a weird dynamic. Again, the jobs have never cratered up until recently. So I don't think that it's necessarily weaker or stronger, but I do think there is an unknown that has not been disclosed or has been kind of obfuscated in the process. And then again, it does lead back to credibility. That's what we've been saying. Shao IPO? What's that? You think there's a higher inflation versus last year? I disagree because it's just not. Houses aren't renting the same prices. They're not even selling for the same prices. The other part was like asset inflation right now is skyrocketing. Real life inflation is not. Do you guys? I'm used to this. You know why? Because most of my life I was in the stock market trading the Mag 7. It was called FANG when I was doing it. And yeah, the asset prices would go insane and nobody knew what the word inflation even meant. So that's kind of the problem, is that I think asset prices are rocketing in the last year. That's the thing that you guys see going up. And then remember, they did drop 30% at one point this year as well too. So they were both cheap and expensive all in the same 12 months. But yeah, it's the asset prices that are really running. But real life inflation is not anything out of what you've dealt with. It may be higher than last year, but my brother in Christ, you were paying $9 per gallon. Everybody was paying triple their electricity bill. It's still elevated. I'm not saying it's cheap, but you've went through real price increases in real life that were much, much more like noticeable. In the last couple of years, you have not, except for assets. Solana has doubled. Dogecoin and like dumb shit, and all the trash Russell has doubled, but not like real life prices. Your food has not doubled. Your electricity has not doubled. Your house definitely has not doubled. You know, that's what we're talking about. It just, there's a big gap right now that reminds me of 2015 back in the day, where you have a big gap between asset inflation and real life inflation. I don't know if I have the chart. I saw this data not too long ago. I don't think I saved it though, because I think most people felt it. Assets are going up because the dollar devalued. Yes, that's what I would say from the beginning of the year, mixed in with also some of the policy and belief and doubt behind Trump adds into it. That's what inflation is, bro. Well, Ricky, you look like an older gentleman, so let me ask you this then. When Meta went from like $10 to several hundred for the first decade before inflation, why didn't you experience inflation? Does that make sense? Same thing with Google, with Amazon, with Tesla, with Apple. You had zero. You didn't even, I don't even think you pronounced the word inflation. Nobody did. It was at zero. Yeah, they're going up. I don't think they've doubled them. And it all depends what you're buying. But it's not, like, let me put it this way. Like, do you think gold or groceries went up more this year? And I think it's an easy answer. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, you're not, this is what, like a couple years ago, this is what your inflation chart looked like for everything in real life. You understand? That I don't think real life looks like this. Real life kind of looks like this right now. You see what I'm saying? You're going up in some things, but it's not different than the last 5 years. That's what I'm trying to tell you. From Donald Trump to Joe Biden, you guys have been fucking racked with some of the most insane fucking moves. So why would, like, you have to realize it takes a lot to surprise you or to get like a big reaction now. You've lived through real 9% inflation, motherfucker. What are you guys telling me? Yeah, I know the propaganda told you it wasn't real, but it was, and you lived through it. You know what I'm saying? So you've lived through the aggressive, fast one, and even persisted. But like I'm saying, there right now, you, especially if you watch the stock market, don't become a politician and be out of touch, because your asset prices are running, but most normal people don't have assets, you guys. This isn't, so the inflation, the wealth effect is higher, asset prices are higher, but you're not getting goods and services. There's actually some that are going down. So it's a very interesting dynamic, but it's kind of normal, to be honest, because this is where most of my career, you had crazy asset inflation, and then you had no such thing as real inflation. That's modern monetary theory, my guy. Until it breaks. So yeah, Baba is starting to rock it up. Let me see. Is that it? New. Meta and other stocks was going up. It didn't have the expectation of growth. I don't think it has anything to do with that. Like, I'm telling you, I made a fortune on these stocks and they 10x'd. Prices went up 10 times. You still didn't have inflation. And some of them were really big at the time. The literal invention of cloud. from AWS, and then the 10 years from 2014 to 2024. But even to 2020, the asset prices went up 10x. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's like there was really big asset inflation that already existed. I was really rich before inflation and everything, you guys, because I was in the market. That's why I'm here today telling you about the long term and why I love it so much, and why I say you should learn it. You should learn it for free and spend a lot of time in it, because that's what happens. But you never had real life inflation. So that's why the liberals fucking loved modern monetary theory, because they're like, holy shit, we could get a bunch of houses, own a bunch of stocks, and the normal people won't really care because inflation won't go up. So everybody thinks their value's stable. So it's not, I'm telling you, this is real life. You already lived it. Go look back and see. Yeah, dude, you had assets 10x, 15, 20x across the board. You had the doubling of the stock market. It did not lead to real life inflation. That's why it wasn't until 2020 and 2021 that we had that holy shit, inflation is real. But other than that, inflation was never real. Because it didn't matter how much money you printed. It didn't matter what stocks did. It was not causing a real waterfall trickle down effect to like the assets, even though it was a fat money supply. Or the goods and services, not assets. It hit certain assets, but not everything else. And then remember the Fed and people buying assets too. Yeah, Baba. 52 weeks. The phenomenon, I called it the crack up boom or flight to real assets. I like that. Very interesting. Yeah, I'll see if I can find it by the watch list. I didn't save it. I need to go through my notes, because there's a nice little data set on it that just shows, even in the last 9-12 months, that like goods have really done nothing. And yeah, they've ticked up in some areas, but it's really the asset prices this year. Because in the beginning, when the assets were down because of Trump and everybody was freaking out, it matched up. That would have made sense. But then now that you're up 30%, 20%, it's like, wait a minute. And then now you have real big asset inflation, but nothing else. Another conference, Duolingo. Oh, really? Let me check. It may not have hit my calendar if it's not like a business event, if it's social, but we'll see. Yeah, Nick Timmerhouse. That's what I was telling people yesterday. You got to realize, Mr. Moran can literally affect the dot plot. He is going to be a dot. So that means if he really wants to fucking lower the average, he can. If he just puts in 0. I don't think he will, but because that'd be hella political. But yeah, he's gonna have a real effect. It's not gonna be the set all be all, but that's it. He has a dot, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, it's tomorrow, but they meet today. They meet today, and then they meet tomorrow as well, and then they come out. They're pretty much making the decision today. They'll be able to change it up until tomorrow, but they're pretty much going over it all now. They were going to start the meeting off by talking about how much they hate Donald Trump, but now that Moran's in there, they have to... I'm just like, order! They trying to take my rates away. Many cuts. Many, 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 many cuts. Wish death upon me. No, I don't rise no more. The rates don't climb to the sky no more. Have mercy on me. AT&T. A little flush there, 1.2. Uh-oh, hot dog. Yeah, AT&T 1.34. Eli, 5 billion factory in Virginia. Pete's finalizes in 2026 and they'll split into 2 companies. Oh, that sucks. See, so then the value will change of KDP. Because if they spin that off and you don't get the other one, or depending on the value, you might not get the good portfolio. I know TTD did red to green, but the fucking premium's dead. You know the rules say no plays? I don't think you do, if you're asking me. You want to talk about a concept or sector? That's usually what the watch list is for, if you watch yesterday's. So you're allowed to, but if you run into breaking the rules, I'm going to ban you. So approach at your own risk, my friend, or I'll see you on the watch list. I did. That's what I said this morning. I saw 2028 options. It's September, middle of September. They add the next year leaps. So yeah, 2028s are on the table now. ASTS, SpaceX plan to have tests on phones. Okay, Baba again. Yeah, those JDs kill. We bottom tick JD. I wish I grabbed more Baidu, but I couldn't go past 10% on China. But I'm a big fan. Yeah, Baidu, Baba, they're all China's going crazy, but SPY's at the low, so be careful because you're getting a little weird push and pull. US related to China's going down, and then China ADRs are all going up. Yeah, JD's doing it again. JD's up only 1 though. And JD has been the one that struggled a little bit. Yeah. We have K-Webs that are coming to life too. Yeah, I don't like them. Yeah, Ego White's kind of whack today. It's getting murdered. 0.45. SPY's only down 0.11. That's Apple, Tesla for you. Nasdaq's right at break even. SPY is just literally at yesterday's open. And then oil's climbing, Russell and Dow down. All the China plays are just taking off right now, last 2 minutes. I want to add more, but I think the chains don't look too favorable. And then we already have the exposure. JD, Baidu. That's good, man. Keep learning. I think the thing I've been doing lately, bro, this year, and as I'm trying to like communicate some objective truth to you guys, especially as you guys are starting off your investment careers or like getting into certain things after a few years, I really hope you learn the right way. Because what I've seen, if you don't and you let some of these like inaccurate thoughts come in and you build your whole financial framework around it, I don't think it's going to serve you well. Because like I'm saying, a lot of people got to live through a lot of things, and I get how some people started and they didn't get to see some things, but you don't want to have flawed logic. Again, inflation, understanding the economy, I strongly encourage you to learn it from a book, not the television. And I have videos of me reading the book for you. But that's the problem. I hope you guys get it. If you're learning your macroeconomics and how the Fed and money and the dollar works strictly from Bloomberg and CNBC, you're building a foundation on sand. It's gonna hurt you. As I'm saying, if you really want to understand inflation, economy effects, all of that, you better start cracking open a fucking old textbook that does not have a political bias. That's why I read you the Cornell one, and it covered both sides very fairly and very equally. That's what I appreciate. But that's kind of the issue, because I'm saying I'll highlight it for you. I've got to live through a lot of things, and that's what I'm saying. You know, I vividly remember I was doing your guys' journey at a different stage, and I remember there wasn't inflation. I remember buying things, and I remember assets. I remember the stock market going up so much. Not one peep of inflation. Everything stayed the same price. So that's something that you got to live through it and understand it, but don't let I wouldn't lose sight of your real experience, and don't apply it to the lens of a television. I have him on the trading fraternity. Probably got like 30 videos. We read about 20 chapters, I think, or 15 chapters from a textbook. So it's one I studied in college, and it was some good economic lessons. There's a whole playlist too. I think more people would have been able to watch the videos, and YouTube would have showed it to you, if I just threatened to kill politicians as the intro. So if I was like, maybe we should go kill Donald Trump, and I gave you guys instructions, and then I got into my economic lessons, I think you would have all seen them by now. But for some reason, you don't know where they are. But yeah, I'll try that. I'll start getting a weapons kit and some tutorials before I get into the macro. That way, maybe I could get in the good graces of YouTube and Twitch. Well, that's what I said, bro. Do you guys want to see it? This is from yesterday's discussion. You're glad you saw them without all that? I am too, brother. I am too, man. You know, because I'm glad you guys don't get it, bro. I've had some chads end up in bad situations, and I took it personally. I don't like watching you guys do bad. I don't want, like, dude, if one of my viewers ended up becoming like a little fucking weirdo shooter and like did all that, bro, I would feel so bad. I'm like, dude, I had it happen with mushrooms, and I'm like, dude, I told you guys every day not to do mushrooms, and one of the good chads ends up in a bad situation, and I'm like, dude, that's not dope. So I'm glad too you didn't have to hear it like that. It's just, again, we were all really shocked that dude, I did not understand how explicit some of these because I don't watch anybody stream. I only get whatever clips, and then once the clips are trash, I'm like, give me my fucking good stuff. So it's like, dude, it's shocking. But this is what I said. This is my vote. I'm not saying we ban any of these kids. And then like Destiny, I discovered him now. I always thought he was something else. But yeah, bro, I don't think we ban anybody. I say we reset everything. Reset the algo, apply the rules fairly. I don't think any of this trash content would last if the algo wasn't boosted by the employees who work at the company or the people banning and all of that. It's very simple. If you applied the same rules to everybody, bro, you let everybody out of the shadow ban, rep ban like myself. You don't need to cancel anybody. You don't need to get rid of free speech. That would fix it. And then it's sad because some kids, like young kids, they're like, but the algo goes off of interaction. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Just like some of the economic data, that interaction is fake. I'm not talking about bots. I'm saying if your spectrum of thought is limited, it's not a real algorithm that shows you what's actually good. They're limiting it. So if they get rid of the critical thoughts and opinions at the middle and only leave you with extremism at both sides from the algo, I mean, it's not really a choice. That's not even consent. It makes sense what's happening. It makes sense why. It's like you don't need to ban anybody. You don't need to fight any freedom of speech. We need to fix the damn problem of people changing incentives silently, secretly, and for political purposes. That's it. Yeah, 'cause I even responded to what's her name? Ilhan Omar. She's so rich now, dude. I'm so proud of her. You know that, bro? This little fucking politician, immigrant, comes into America, bro, preaches all socialist and hating money. Homegirl got 30 mil. Ah! So, yeah, bro. A cult chapter? We don't have any of those. I mean, we have a farm, and that's our first foray into it. But I mean, if we ever get organized, I'm down. But I don't think we're there yet. That's what I'm saying. I think not only it's not just me. I think there's a lot of people like me that offer really good takes in the middle and all throughout. And there's people who offer really good content, but it's just not being exposed the same way as the nutty shit. That's what I think is the real problem. If you had it all on an equal playing field and it wasn't with all, because again, my whole channel, bro, I'm rep hit because I laughed at the fucking vaccine. I've been banned for more clips of playing other people than myself. So it's like certain things like that, bro. If you gave it a certain shot, I think it would, I think there's a lot of ideas that could be helpful to a lot of people. I don't think crazy sells. No, I think you guys are being manipulated. That's what I'm telling you. Because you're like, oh, everyone loves the crazy, but it's like, no, if these algos are manipulated to only show you it, and then again, you have employees and other agendas, but mainly it's employees. Like in my instance, that's why you don't think it's weird that Google went through and removed every single strike I've ever had? It's because they found out it was an employee or a couple employees targeting my channel because they disagreed with my religion. And then once we made enough noise, be like, yo, this is unfair. And they look into it and be like, wow, no rules were violated. Oh, wow, that's weird. Why would somebody do that to you? Like, you see what I'm saying, dude? It's a really weird dynamic. So I could only imagine how many hymns is still dropping. I put this one up here, $2 down. It's confirmed, but they'll never make a statement. Like I said, I know people who work at Google. That's why it was weird. Because they're like, dude, I can't help you. I'm like, what do you mean? You fucking work there. And they're like, yeah, bro, I don't get it. And then afterwards, they let me know. But, because again, we just had to make a lot of noise. It was really bad. But and imagine how many other people that has happened to that you will never hear about. Or again, that have information, good ideas, good for society. So, unfortunately, I think some of the silent bias and the silent altering of the spectrum, I think, has had this effect. Fucking TTD, bro. Dude, the premiums went back to break even. I thought they were gonna get washed. I didn't think they would. Those little fuckers. You should have double dipped. Freedom of speech, though. I know, you dumb fuck. I'm not arguing against freedom of speech. I'm saying you guys have a very manipulated algorithm that is limiting freedom of speech. And the solution is not to ban more people and keep the same algorithm. The solution is keep freedom of speech and fix the fucking problem. It's these liberal nut jobs working at all of these companies that are taking a moral high ground and they believe they have the right to violate people's freedoms because of their morality. And then they do it. And then half of the society will agree and cheer for murder and actions like that, and then that's it. Has nothing to do with interactions, has nothing to do with views or anything. Like I told you, if I alter the spectrum, you're not really making a choice. If I give you your spectrum of thought, it's either fucking Nick Fuentes or the fucking Hassan Hamas, whatever his name is. You're telling me that's my spectrum? I disagree. I don't think that's reality. I think there's billions of more people that are more of a wider spectrum and better offering. But I don't think the algos, how they have been tweaked over the last 4 years, they will not. And it's because of individuals, radicalized individuals, a network all within these companies and all within American society. It's very simple. So I don't think it has anything to do with freedom of speech. I think it's other things. Moran sworn in as Fed Appeals Court Judge Elizabeth Branch. Moran Phils Kugler. September meeting is underway. Wow. Yeah, they just swore him in. I'm not talking about political spectrum. I'm talking spectrum of thought. Just like I said, Donald Trump or Kamala. You think you really had a choice? Do you see what I'm saying? Those are my options. Give me another option. If I limit your options of what's presented to you, I'm limiting your choice. You don't see it? I'm only giving you the two worst ideas to choose from. Again, Nick Fuentes or Hassan. That's what a lot of young people think it is. It's not. Do you get what I'm saying? And then every day, repeat that, rewire it, promote it, and use the social media to make sure that spectrum is hardcore. Again, they ain't never gonna have a I can't find your video today. Of course you'll find it. Spectrum. So that's what I'm talking about. If you could limit the spectrum of thought, in theory, you could kind of control the outcomes. And that's what I think it is. That's what I'm saying. That's when I take a step back and I look at Hassan to Fuentes to how everyone's reacting like this. And then you're like, what? Everybody wants to get radicalized. You don't see it? The Republicans want to be radical now. The Democrats want to be radical. They were already radical. This is not natural, you guys. That's what I'm trying, you don't think it's weird that all of a sudden boomers are, I'm fucking, and then these young kids are just, what are you saying? So yeah, I think the spectrum and the algorithms and all of that is terrible, bro. Eli Lilly, that's still going. Bob and all them tripped out or stopped, but the premiums didn't go nuts. I don't know what happened with him. Gold on the low now, too. Good thing we have the view. I know. That's what I be thinking, too, bro. In times of, doubt and uncertainty, I'm like, man, thank God for Whoopi Goldberg. Fuck, what would I do without his mental support here? FDA? Oh, that's what it was? Nice. I agree. Well, that's why I'm telling you. I don't think the solution is to ban a bunch of people. in a weird way, I am very scared by the Republicans turning into Democrats. And if you've really listened to me, I've told you this was going to happen 2.5, 3 years ago. And that's why I'm scared of it. I don't like it. All of you. That's why I'm saying the problem isn't to take away more rights. The problem isn't to give the government more control, even if you agree with them, bro. Like, I'm trying to tell you! Every time you're like, you hate Joe Biden? You hate Donald? I'm like, oh my God, bro. That's the whole point. It's radical. And you don't see the, like, pulling apart. And I don't like Republicans getting people. They're seeing it now, and they're like, yeah, they're getting people fired. They're turning into liberal cancel culture. Yes, exactly. I told you this years ago. I said the pendulum. I've told you about this pendulum. And I said that's the scary part, and I blame the Democrats because I said you guys don't realize it. It's just like one of those pullback cars. You're pulling it back. And when Joe Biden won, bro, he went on a tear of a lot of violations. Hence, algorithms to Pfizer, you name it. And that pulled the pendulum. And Republicans had to live and see what was going on. And then they pulled the pendulum. And then the Democrats lost. So what happens to that pendulum, bro? They just pulled it up 45 degrees to the left. When that lets go, that's going to swing just as hard 45 degrees to the right, my brother. And that's scary. Because now you're going to get the same exact craziness out of the liberals, but now with a fucking Republican Jesus twist. Great. So, that's what I was telling you. It's just unfortunate. And then what's going to happen now, if the Republicans go overboard, then they get crazy, they start canceling, they start banning, they start doing all this, and then everybody gets fed up, they vote a Democrat in, then what happens? It's going to swing so fucking hard to the left again, bro. I told you this 2-3 years ago. Y'all think I'm fucking smoking some bat shit, not realize I've been ahead. Oh. And now we're like, oh. Yeah, bro, it's bad. It's really bad. I don't like the pendulum, especially when it's extreme. And I think all of you, you should stop fucking around. You are the future generation. You're here right now. You guys are alive. You're Americans. Some of you are well-mannered, well-being. And for real, just go save 10%. Just be a stable fucking person. Go enjoy your life, man. And I think a lot of you guys in here, Republican or Democrat, we all share a nice stable middle. Let's be real. And I don't think anything to the extremes are terrible. But unfortunately, that has been set in motion. And that's why I'm saying it's like, I don't think we should get rid of freedom of speech. I don't think we should ban these people. I think we should reset some things and give it a fair shot. But the moment we start going into the banning and the playing the exact same fucking game that got us here, it doesn't end well. Like I'm saying, I don't think you need to do anything crazy. I think a lot, if trash, hurtful content was not promoted, in a obtuse, outsized fashion, I don't think it would remain. That's why you don't need to ban anybody. I do believe words have consequences, but I'm just saying, bro, you guys don't realize that some of this content, after it destroys people's lives, or it really hurts them, they won't go back to it. The only reason why people are going back to it is because the fucking CEO of Twitch probably getting 20-year-old girls from Hassan, and then he's like, all right, fuck it. Have you seen him? Yo, CEO of Twitch, bro. I'll hook you up with, I know a bunch of girls, CEO of Twitch. Come on, let me out, bro, or free everybody. It's just so stupid. Because I'm like, dude, it's really like, it is the content has already hurt people, but then it just keeps getting promoted, and then and it's not natural promotion, it's not natural interaction, it's they own the fucking server and could promote it. That's what I'm saying. And then that's why the content, because any normal content, if it was on a normal interaction filter, some of the other ones we had, bro, and the content hurt people, made them that craziness, bro, it wouldn't survive. We have created a false environment for insanity to thrive. And it's just not a real environment. That's all it is. Kill the oxygen and it's gone. It can't grow. Well, that's why the internet was powerful. Because at the first part of society, it was just TVs. And they had that control, mainstream. That's why when the internet came around, it offered an alternative, opinions, information, all of that. And then fast forward 20 years, they turned it back into TV. I think the split news would change it a little bit. I would like KDP a little lower, but if you don't know what you end up owning and walk away with, then yes, I do think it will change it. Okay, can I show you guys another one? We're still at the lows. We barely moved. We're break even. So I think I could keep ranting. Watch the video? No, I haven't. But I think the scary part is some of these things I've told you guys well in advance. And I think some of you at the time, you just thought I was like a weird religious guy, or you thought I was probably going through something personal. No, I was just telling you the future. Because it's fucked up. I don't like it. I'm not like, I don't say that pridefully. I say that like, damn, what the fuck? That's why I'm saying it's stable and it's not good, because this isn't like a new idea. I'm not making this up because of the situation. This is shit I've already said. This is stuff that we have already put out there and have made it very, I've talked about it in passing many times and people will get sensitive and other things, but it's just really weird that, it's very credible in the sense that it's the original idea. Your biggest objection on religion is it hurts us as a certain without much thought on our parts. I feel the same way about society. And like the news. But look at this though. Ready for this though? I don't know. This is gonna fuck you up. But I'm like, oh, I didn't save it or they took it down. Dude, I saw one of these like Fox guys like ranting. And he was ranting on the whole scenario, like being outraged and like destroying the reporter. But then this guy's like looking down at his notes to tell me how sad he is about Charlie. And it's so weird. I don't know, man. All of it, I think a lot of them are really pushing talking points on both sides. Both sides want the radicalism. So be safe out there, Chad. FDA sends letter to Eli Lilly saying online video misbrands Zepbound. Yeah, that's what that drop was. I got the headline later, but we had to move. I want to see the video now. Okay, SPY going lower. It's very small. Russell and Dow are the ones struggling. You're still getting held up by tech. But borderline, this is like yesterday's price. You're still above 6,600. Thank you for saying both sides feed the radicalism. My brother in Christ, I think I've been saying that, and I've been extremely neutral for the last 5 years. I did go full Trump because some of you guys were being very aggressive, and I don't think you understood what was at stake. I did. And that's why I made my decisions. But I still am very, very neutral. And this is a very scary time because both sides and both crazies on both sides are fucking loving it. Okay? So I hope you guys stay wise, man, and just go get you a house, get your crib, take care of yourself, man. I've never asked you to be one of my grunts, okay? So stop doing it for other people. You know, I've like I said, I will never ask any of you to do anything I will not do. I'm telling you to buy a house. I'm selling my long term and buying a house. I'll do it. I'm not. So that's all it is, man. You guys need to take care of yourself. Don't get so caught up in people's political goals. Stop working for them. You know what I'm saying? Stop working for the pumpers. Stop working for the politicians. Stop working for these ideology groups. Just take care of yourself. Live a happy life, man, and focus on it, regardless of what you are, who you are, what you want to be. You know what I'm saying, bro? And just be you. Really be you. And live in it, bro. And if you do that in the real world, no one's going to bother you. Trust me. But you get on the internet and you start beefing and you start playing this game, before you know it, you won't know. This is some deep propaganda, bro. On both sides, and there's people who just want you to do something stupid, dog. They want you radical. They want you angry. And because then it serves their purpose, Republican or Democrat. So, yeah, just be yourself, man, and love it, and be okay, and don't focus on you, and you don't have to be attached to anybody's mission. You know, that's why I love the long-term mission, because it's for you. Be about it the long term. You're gonna get money. You're gonna save 10%. You're gonna have a house to live in, and I hope you live a happy life. But just stop working for people like this, man. It's crazy. Solar, I don't know. There's nuclear summit, but I have no idea. Solar, SPY going down. I don't know if that was Euro. Couple tech names. Low ticker's picking up. Actually really big. So I think Apple and a couple good names though. Chips are doing great again. That's kind of how it was last week. Any day the market didn't move much, it would be there. Oh, I know the credits go away, but they still get something. I remember that was the last rally we had on it. So they lose some set of credits, but I think a certain amount of funding is still remaining. KHC on the high too. Google, $6 billion investment. Hey, dude, the sun is setting so fast. That's crazy. So yeah, we are entering a new season, bro. Yeah, gold and silver, they hit a new high today, new record, and then just started dumping. So it sucks because now it's break even, but I had a good day. TTE, all right, I'm gonna play some propaganda. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
11th century castle behind me. But I have to say, this is the worst possible timing for Keir Starmer. He's just lost his UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, over his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein, of course, linked to the king himself via his brother Prince Andrew and to Donald Trump. So there are going to be some very, very awkward moments, not least at the press conference at the end of the trip. For the UK, the point will be to not look like we're appeasing the president, but also to make sure that something substantive comes out from this visit, because ultimately the UK is playing its ace by deploying the king.
Bloomberg's Lizzie Burden from Windsor Castle. We appreciate it. Let's return to
the tech deals that we're expecting to come out of that visit, and the focus on AI with Lei Chu, Chief Investment Officer for Thematic Innovation Equities at AllianceBernstein. And more, this fits into the whole array of conversation we keep having, Lei, about the need for investment in AI. We just think back to Oracle's numbers last week and how much they were showing that they've got this backlog building. We've got all the hyperscalers trying to build out. Alphabet's looking to build a data center in the UK. Are we seeing that continuing to go up and to the right at the speed that we see at the moment?
Well, I think what we're seeing is actually we're hitting an inflection point in inferencing. So if you look, just broadly speaking, not just those big numbers that you quoted, but also if you look, the AI trend and the adoption and where we're seeing the step function in numbers is broadening out. So it's a broader set of companies that are starting to benefit. Whether it's the networking companies or we're seeing it in memory pricing, in storage, in hardware. So those are all signs that, in terms of AI adoption, the inferencing at the edge, things are actually happening. And to me, this is a very positive sign. That means the real adoption, which will drive continued build. So if we think about it, tech innovation generally, we take step functions, right? We kind of chug along, and then all of a sudden there's an inflection point, and things really start to take off. And I really think we are still in the early innings
uranium
of that
now
happening, and supported
they're
by
all
all
dying.
the evidence that we have seen.
So remember, yesterday they had the bump.
From the
that was the only little conference, but it's either the conference or it's just natural shit. But yeah, they all started moving. DNA on the high. New app for Windows is part of lab experiments. The AI bubble, Jack Selby. Oh, where's Bank of America? There's gonna be a CEO conference too. I'm surprised we haven't even heard any. So yeah, oil's been nuts. Even last week it was strong. Metals dumped. Everything was front ran. That's what sucks about this fucking year, man. That's why I'm saying get ready for the credibility surprise, because you already saw how Wall Street flip-flopped on your head on the whole bond credibility. But just weigh it, because when it front runs this big, that's what gives them the flexibility to do it. You see what I'm saying? So if you front run and everybody's caught off guard, you keep the front run. But then now gold's at 3,700, rate cuts coming up. Yeah, you could just flip it at any time and then let it sell off for the day and then go buy back in the next, or you're already still positioned and up. So unfortunately, I wouldn't, that's what makes it so difficult. I wouldn't trip too much on it being down. I don't think it signals anything. If it was stable the week or month before, then I would agree with you. But the fact that it has this cushion and did all that, I think that's a consequence of the front run. Like the whole entire year. Everything has played out like that this year. There's a chance of 50% cuts at 6% because credibility has raised, but credibility is not that high. That's exactly why I'm telling you, just be on the lookout either today or right when the SCP comes out. That could change that. Or the next coming days after the Fed, then other sets of data, policy could change that as well. That's why credibility surprise, you're not going to hear that on Bloomberg or anywhere. That's how I would describe it. Dude, gold at 3,700 is insane. Dude, I bought my gold at 1,000, 1,300, I think max. It's crazy. $3,700 for an ounce of gold? What are you gonna do with it? I have a lot of gold, bro. I need to ask. I don't know why I don't think my dad knows, to be honest, because he ain't say shit, bro. You know that? I argue, bro, half of them people who've been buying gold at church for the last like 20 years, I don't even think they realize how high it is yet. I don't think the Lord told them to go check yet. Maybe, I don't, dude, it's crazy. Allah. He's just gonna ask me if he should sell it. That's what he did last time. So last time at like 3,000 or whatever, and I told him, he's like, does that mean I sell? I'm like, no, man, why did you fucking buy it? I'm like, because of Jesus. I'm like, no, that's not. He didn't buy gold because of Jesus. I just make fun of the conservatives. You told the old dude it was at 3,600 and he flipped? I'm sure. It was probably $30 when he was alive for most of his life. Well, what do you mean? I got it for 30. What do you mean 3,000? Aklo. Again, all of the uranium ones just got whopped. ADM ticking up. That's what I was saying earlier. I don't understand why Donald Trump wants to remove the quarterly reports. That's been one of the only moves lately that I can't really wrap my head around. Because I don't like it. Because I like quarterly reports. I think, I don't like the Fed every month. I think you could change the Fed every month. I don't think you need to do the Fed 12 times or 8 times a year. But I don't understand the quarter, like, because public, you need the public filings. I mean, I don't use them nowadays like the same way I did in the past, but you do need that information. Or at the very least, the information will come out. It's just going to change the pace. So like, I could only imagine, bro, if you did what, semi-annual or once a year. So that means earnings season will be crazy if you think about it. Because then if you only had one earnings a year, bro, that'd be so boring. No. Look, I don't know why he's doing it. I really don't. I can't see the benefit. The only benefit would be it would uphold values in companies, because then there's less likelihood for people to get shocked by a quarter or two. But then some people might get greatly hurt if a company was just scamming for a year and then you didn't know until the one report. That would be terrible. So it would decrease volatility, but increase it depending on the circumstance. Like I'm telling you, because some companies would benefit off of it if they struggle with like cash flow, or, you know, it's just one where they may have a bad seasonal. You look at the end of the year and then you don't have to deal with the pressure. But then it opens up the door for scammers, because then if any company, think about Starbucks, Chipotle, Starbucks especially, if they were doing materially bad all year and you wouldn't have had any idea until the end of the year, they're gonna report and you just drop 50%. But then again, at least you'll drop 50% on a yearly report than dropping 50% on one bad quarter. Because that's the problem. That's the only benefit I could see, but I still don't like the idea. VXX. CRM 6 billion in UK. I think they're trying to give money to the UK so that they can get UK to go against Russia with oil. So the irony is that I think it's the Europeans. If the Europeans just been wanting the oil still for cheap. Donald, we are very scared of Russian aggression, but we still need their oil, Donald. I know, Donald. No, Donald. No, Donald. You sanction, but we still buy from them, Donald. Please, Donald. Please. it would broadly affect everyone's portfolios in a big way? Yes. I don't know the outcome. Like I'm saying, there's ways it could be good. There's a lot more ways it could be bad. And I think the big problem now is that stocks and companies, they already face a big risk with quarterly reports. Because right now, if you have a bad quarterly report, you'll go down 30%, 40%. So the only logic I could see them thinking about is why not drop 40% for a bad year than a bad quarter. That's the only thing I could think of. But other than that, I have no idea. That's what I'm saying. I am kind of confused because it kind of came randomly. This has been an action that I don't really know. It should add stability, but it opens up the potential for a lack of stability. Like I'm saying, if anything is bad in a company, you wouldn't know till a year later. That's wild. So let me put it this way. You guys, what's a stock lately? This is a great example, actually. UPS. I've been bringing this one up a lot lately, right? And we've talked about it. So why don't I want to buy UPS? So I've talked about UPS, but why have I not bought it? Exactly. We think that the dividend might get cut, and we have that idea because we look at the payout ratio. So that's a filing. I'm going to the balance sheet through their report, and we're taking in their info, and that has given me the payout ratio. You see what I'm saying? So hypothetically, under this plan, we would only get an updated payout ratio once a year instead of once every 3 months. So that's where I'm like, I don't really like that. And that's where that could imagine the lack of information and how that could affect your investments. Because now if there's any company like that, you won't know the payout ratio till 12 months. You won't know anything till 12 months. Or if they're doing it once a year. Semi-annual would be better. I could do semi-annual, but once a year is kind of whack. It wouldn't make it really it would change the difficulty of forecasting, but then it would also make people's forecast be longer, which that has a benefit. Instead of this high turnover time, high everything, and fast. But like I'm saying, I don't, just for your guys is like a real practical look, you know, some of the shit I give you, we won't be able to do that. We won't be able to look at updated payout ratios, the balance sheet. Everything will not be updated depending on how they implement it. I don't think it gives them time to cook the books. It gives them time to hide from the reaction. That's the key. That's either good or bad. Some companies will benefit off of it because if they had a bad first 2 quarters and killed it in the last 4, their stock and funding didn't get hurt. But then the companies that do really bad, they're going to wreck people. Yeah, they would have time to offload, but then I don't think you'd still get Form 4s and all that. So I don't think that would change. Eli Lilly's coming up again. They had FDA, a new plant, and a couple of other things. And SPY's trying to come up too. Apple, Tesla, Meta, those have been the runners today. A couple of other smaller plays too. Let's see. Dow Jones, 8 green, 22 in the red. NASDAQ 100, 41 green, 59 in the red. SPY 157 green, 340-ish in the red. Baidu in China again. Imagine not knowing Nikolai's scam until 1 year later. Habibi, That's a bad example. You can know Nikolai scam on day one, Habibi. Why you need 12 months? With like a hydrogen semi-truck. Oh, the hydrogen. Oh, I wonder if this is legitimate. Oh, maybe I give my money, wait a year. No, you figure that one out in a fucking minute, bro. So that one, I don't like that example. But other names, like Starbucks recently, that was a good example because they had a material downgrade or a material bad earnings. And then the stock went down 20, 30%. But that one reacted because the info came later. No, Walgreens or Rite Aid may have survived. You see what I'm saying? Because now take Walgreens, for example. Company starts having a couple bad earnings and everyone's like panicking, right? Guess what? If they only reported once a year, you wouldn't have known Walgreens was that bad, but then they would have been able to fund and handle their obligations better because nobody's dumping their stock 30% as a result of the bad quarter. You see what I'm saying? So a bad quarter doesn't make them, it wouldn't be a breaking moment. That's what sucks on Wall Street right now, because if you're doing bad and then the market punishes you, it's now going to be even harder to do better because now everything, credit, funding, all of that gets smashed. So in a weird way, Walgreens might have had a better shot under later reporting. Yeah, Snapchat may have done better as well, too. 100%. UTI. Yeah, it is. I think it would add some stability, but I still don't like the idea. I think it's interesting. Trump memorandum on drug procedures posted on Federal Register September 8th. Limiting earnings forecast, but keeping quarterly reports. Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I like it how it is. I think just make like Republicans and liberals follow the same rules and actually enforce it, and we could keep everything the same. That's it. But other than that, I don't know. I see the differences in that, and I think having the data, the balance sheet is really helpful for certain decisions. You don't need it in all of them, but yeah, it's still I don't know. This is a weird change that I think it comes with a lot. There's even a lot of other questions. Form 4s, 8Ks, every SC13s. How does this affect all of that? Yeah, bro, Intel. It ain't been here in a minute, but you need to go. You need to go. STV and Oracle slip. Oracle does this every day. I'm glad I took the money in the morning. I still have some though. Where's crypto? I feel like I haven't heard about MSTR too. Have they hit a new high yet this year? No, that was in the beginning. I'm still at these levels though. This is not going higher. Hood on the high. Hood, hams. Kava. Oracle's still on the low now. Dude, Baidu 120. Nice. Yeah, bro, Baidu's really killing it. Thank you, my friend. Finally. You should be up on the flip shares, too, by a substantial amount now. Coles is waking up out of nowhere. 10 cents. 60% of fund managers hold no crypto. Really? Is that personal or for their fund? 50% on Baidu. Nice. I know, man. Don't let me flex on him, bro. Come on. But yeah, you should be up 50%. All the China plays are great. Hard to believe. Walmart's not at $1 trillion. I think if Walmart, they did really good on their online sales, but I think if they really like pump that a little bit more. But I am surprised by that too, bro. I like Walmart a lot. Walmart, McDonald's, those are some names that I really like for the long term. They just never go down. We had some Baidu options, and then I've been holding Baidu flip shares for fucking years, and now they're finally green a lot. I have a lot of them. But then I bought it for the long term too. And we're up 50% on the long term. Woo! I think it could go a long way too, but if you got similar China exposure to me and you chase it, that's your own idea at that point. So I think we played it perfectly. We bought China at one of the cheapest prices you could ever get in the world, and then we made sure it didn't get more than 10% of our portfolio. If it doubles, triples, turns into 20, 30%, I'm fine with that. But I'm not going to put more than a 10% allocation at the time. So I wouldn't. Like I said, my girlfriend asked me if she should buy Baba yesterday. And I said the same thing. I said, baby girl, I bought it at 80. I said, go buy something else. What's wrong with you? But yeah. So other than that, I think China's done. You until we get a pullback in China. There will be another one. China will have another opportunity. Obviously, there's still upside, and I don't like you if you're gonna be like that. Because there's people, same thing with Baba. You have to hear me properly, okay? Because if you're gonna take what I say to be dumb and then get mad at me, like just be dumb right now and don't even worry about me. Because I'm telling you, I bought Baba in the $80. And last time it was at like 140, 130. Chads are like, I'm gonna buy it, Josh. And I say, that's a dumb idea. Because you're buying my bag. You're making me richer. That's fine if you want. But, and then they're like, or I think it was right here at 113. And they're like, look, I bought it here, 120-ish, 113. Then it goes to 130. And they're like, see, you were wrong, Josh. You didn't want me to make money. And then for the next 6 months, it does nothing. And then you're either break even or down 20%. And then it rockets back up here. And now I'm still up almost 100 or 200%. And now you're getting still a little bit more. But do you see what I'm saying? So I'm not telling you like China, it doesn't mean China can't go up. You have missed the optimal pricing moment for where we're at. Do you guys understand? So do whatever you want. I'm going to be the guy buying it at the best price. If you want to play that game, you can, but you only have certain windows. So at this point, I'm just not in the business of chasing a play that I'm already up hundreds of percent on, or 50% at minimum. That industry it's gone. So again, you could do it, do whatever you want, but I just personally, that's not my criteria. I would not approve. It doesn't mean you can't still make money, but I just don't think that's the safest way to make money now. Yeah, patience does pay off way better than chasing. That's like the 10th play we've done like that. There's been a lot. So that's why over the years, you don't have to really, we love these moments when they go straight up because we're already in it. So that's just pure profit rather than, oh, it moved up straight up. Let me buy it today and make my mind up. No, make your mind up before. Yeah, I think I bought it in 2023. So I had 1 year of holding. And then I bought Baidu at the end of last year. So I was really early on Baba and then perfect timing on Baidu. But then I had other flip shares on Baidu that were really bad. But those came up right now too. They are posted to the YouTube. And my Twitter. I forgot to post one on Instagram. But yeah, go to my Twitter too. It's all pinned. Go to this channel. Hit posts. And you will see, a month ago, I've only done a couple of things this year. So I'm still outperforming. We have an extra 10, 15% on the whole world. And every play, I've done it, even down to showing you the sell for the property because I want you to. Yes. 4 months ago. First long-term buy of the year. Intel. Yeah, Baidu. 9 months ago. I added Baidu to the long term. I wanted more China stocks, but Baba was green, and my other value targets got a bid. I got another deposit in a few days, so we still have cash to shop. I thought I would add some cheap China exposure. 40 shares of Baidu at 81.70. And then I said the other long-term targets that I still like. And then, yeah. So 9 months ago. On this channel, on my YouTube, everywhere. If you have a cell phone, I could text you. But it's not sexy. It's getting it 9 months later. You had a child, 50%. That's wow. Welcome. But yeah, it's all there. And that's what I'm saying. You guys got to stay along, not because you're lazy, but because YouTube hates me and the fucking radicalism. So there's a less likelihood you're gonna see my content if you're not locked in. You know, this whole time you thought I was talking shit to you guys. No, it's just unfortunately that's how it's gonna work. Because the algo is not in our favor anymore. It was at one point. But yeah, it's going to be on you and your responsibility to get this info. I want Walmart too, bro. I wish. I want Walmart, McDonald's. I like Chipotle still, bro. I had a 10-minute rant on Chipotle yesterday. I'm not going to lie, though. I forgot to do the prayer or the envisioning it. I didn't do it. I know that people want instant money. Just like the irony is that it kind of comes instantly, just not as fast as they want. Can we all agree? Because, bro, I'm blown away, man. I think this is awesome. Like, bro, this account. So the last time when we were buying Baba, this account, the first Baba purchase, this account was at like $14,000 to $16,000. And it's this, dude, $200-300 a month, bro. That's really, like, that's crazy. So I'm like, man, this was pretty fast. And it's like, it wasn't as fast as a day. Like, I've made 30 grand in a day, obviously, but I had to take risk. I got lucky and prepared in a lot of things, you know? But it's like, this is almost guaranteed. This is very easy. And then it's just like, it's pretty quick. That's what I'm saying. Even my liberal sister is pretty shocked that she has that much money. No, I feel you. No, I get 100% what you're saying. I experience it, man. That's why I really do applaud some of you that are stable. Because I'm telling you, bro, you don't realize, like, there's that little rant that I said yesterday. But, like, deep down, bro, if you encountered me and this little motherfucking guy not showing his face, fucking doing an Elmo voice, God knows whatever else, right? But then you're like, oh, 10%. Oh, this guy just does one action a month, if that. Oh, and you were like, yeah, I'm down with that. You're a stable person. Do you understand? Because that is not, think about what I just offered you and what you took. I said, hey, bro, you want to wait 5 to 10 years and go very, very gradual with a very small portion of your money? And you're like, yeah, that will change my future drastically. That's really, you're a stable person. Because most alternatives would be extreme. Most alternatives would be pretty radical. Again, that's what I'm saying. You could make money in a couple months. You could do it in a certain amount of time. But then you got to think about it. That's compared to, oh, let's just gamble it all. Let's go do this. Let's do that. It's like, it's not. If you want to make fast money, that's not as stable as you think. Well, that's what I see. But I think some of y'all have to notice another set of propaganda, though. So all my people who do the Solana and the trenches and all that shit, have you guys noticed the propaganda you're getting? It started out where you would see the accounts and the people, and they're like, I just made 50,000. I just made 100,000 first time. I made $500,000, right? That's the first propaganda to get you hooked. What comes next? You'll start to see a bunch of people, and they're like, oh, I had 500,000. Then it went down to 50. And then they'll type a 5,000 word thing on why they need to continue. And then they'll go and read. Bitch, you don't even want to write an essay. Why are you writing it for Twitter after you lost money? Lie. You see what I'm saying? And then they go and do, and then you'll notice there's a propaganda that revolves around people getting what they thought they would get, losing it, and still continuing to make the bad decision. I know you've seen it. Many random creators, random accounts, and it'll show you an account that went really high, then went down, and then they talk about, oh, and then this play, and now I'm still in this, and I know if I could do this, and it's like a weird motivation propaganda. But that just goes to highlight the irony, because I'm telling you, most of you on the short term, some of you are going to get lucky. I think some of you will make big money really quick, but you don't get it. Why do you think you're going to stop? This is the problem I have. I'm not against the gambling, guys. I think it could hurt you. And I think it's not good for a lot of people, but it's your mental. You guys, you're not going to stop. Do you understand me? That's the fallacy you're not seeing. That's the problem that the young guys are getting tricked into. They're tricking your habit. You are brainwashing your behavior. You know why? Because even if you hit the play, bro, and get $1 million, I've been there. I literally have. That's where you're kind of blessed by, I'm not saying this as someone who hasn't done it. I've done it. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to either buy a house or you're going to keep going till you lose it all. And then you're going to have to do it again. Ask anybody. You don't get it. That mentality. The flip, quick on paper. You can get what you want. Some of you have not focused on your exit mechanism. My brother, you could win money on in the casino. People don't know how to leave. Y'all tripping. That's the key. So that's what you got to be careful of. It's not even, you could go play by play, but I'm just speaking in general. Use your stop loss, take your profits on the play, do whatever you want. But I'm saying when we take a step back a quarter, a year, you hit a big amount, you have enough to go buy a house now, but you get a lucky short-term play and it feeds you. What are you going to do with the food? I know what you're going to do. Y'all don't get it. That's what you don't realize. I could predict the future. I'm not a fucking psychic. Because I know, give me 10 men. Give me 10 young men. Every single one of them turns 10 grand to $1 million. I know what 9 of them are going to do. Do you understand me? I could tell you where 9 of them are going to end up with almost extreme accuracy. And it's not because I know the future. It's because I know the pattern of behavior. It's actually kind of psychology. Like, think about it. Because the 9 people who learned how to create the money like that and getting into this environment in the short term, they're not, when they make $1 million, bro, they're going to try to make 2. If you already had such a good life and thought that it wasn't enough, and then you had to go take all these extreme risks, and then it worked, my brother, you're going to do what they do. You like $1 million? I can't even live off $1 million. What the fuck? You didn't have $1 million last week. I can't live. What am I gonna do with 2 million? I need 4. 4 million's the new 400,000. You fucking idiot. Why do you think that's not gonna happen to you? That's what they all do. That's what I'm telling you. 9 out of 10 will give it back. This isn't, you're not cursed. It's not a thing. It's just, that's reality. That's humanity. That's nature. That's behavior. It's your mind. It's money. That's why people don't figure this out. So you see what I'm saying? That's where I really hope some of you can listen to what I'm telling you. And I want to make sure I don't care what you do, and I want you to be safe. That's why I give you the information, and we're ahead of things. But the problem I'm seeing with the behavior and the radicalism and the hopelessness of the youth in investing, it's creating a forever in the casino. That's the problem. Listen, bro, the casino, if you spin the wheel and the casino shoots out a bunch of money and you leave, God bless that casino. Do you understand me, bro? But it's like turning into some fucked up movie. It's like one of those like island movies, and like you're walking into this casino as a young man, you're winning a couple times, but then before you know it, it's Twilight Zone and you can't leave. You don't see it? That's what I'm worried about. Then now that's in prison. That's not a God bless the casino. I spun the wheel, shot a bunch of money, and I left. That's different. Versus I spun it, I won it, I spun it again, I won it, I spun, I won everything, and then for some reason I couldn't walk out the door. And then I did it again, and I spun it again, and it took half of it. And then you play that game, and then now I can't leave. So yeah, that's all. I think some of the speculators, some of the traders, I want you to think about that this week. I just want you to think about your exit. Do you understand? Or have the ability to chill and leave the casino. You need it. And if you can't do that, that's extreme, brother. You know why? Because if you said, I'm going to stay at this casino and live here for the rest of my life, I'd say that's pretty extreme, brother. Maybe go for a weekend. Go for a couple of days. Go for a couple of hours. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you need the ability to leave the casino. If you don't, everything you're teaching yourself about gambling and stocks and options is useless. Because you're not learning the key that's going to get you the money. Exiting. Walking out. I'm not worried about you making money. I think you will. I think you'll run into money. Everybody does. Not everybody leaves. It's LT is the only way. LT is not. LT is the number one way, and it's there. Like I'm saying, all the other stuff you can add to it and do things, but you gotta value and develop these skills. And think it logically though. That's why I'm saying it's like, if you have this mentality that's getting you in short-term plays out of hopelessness, my brother, the hopelessness doesn't just stop when you make the money. It gets stronger. You don't realize that? That's what I'm saying. The people who had nothing make 50,000. Some odd thing in their brain tells them 50,000 now isn't enough when they never had 50,000. And then now at 100,000, and then 1 million. And that's why you hear so many stories of people hitting big and then giving it back. This is because it's the same logical end. That's why, like, in a certain way, like that drive and hopelessness in the beginning can kind of help you, because it'll get you moving, it'll get you taking risk, it'll get you in the spot. But if you're living on that hopelessness, then unfortunately you can't keep any money. You know why? Because when you get the money, you're going to reimagine another hopeless scenario where now whatever money you got is still not enough. And now you're going to take the same risk at a much higher level, and it's completely different. And that's where I'm saying that's the whole I can't leave the casino effect. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. From the front run to the long term. Amen, bro. It is, dude. The pictures are getting clearer. I know it. So you guys are opening up your eyes. People are making you guys. I get it. I love it. Believe me, nothing is better than you guys getting comprehension and understanding to shit that I've said. Like I'm saying, even the pendulum, some of this stuff. I want you to understand my behavior, you guys. I don't want you to not understand it. I'm not trying to be cryptic or confusing. I want you to get it. Real comprehension is going to elevate your ass, bro. So I hope the pictures are getting clearer, and I see it in a lot of you. I think you guys are seeing it, and you're seeing the truth. But remember, you need to put that to work. The action behind it is you guys, and it doesn't have to be crazy. Just remember, like little by little, dude. Small good decisions. That's I had talks yesterday with people for the farm. We were going over, you know, some of the plans and what we're gonna do, and I'm talking about even these like passive income sources. And we know we got some Chads who are gonna come out, and they already got ideas they're gonna implement. And I was telling them though, I was like, listen, you don't need 5 ideas. You don't need 3 ideas. We just need to make a couple of grand here, couple of grand here. 1 or 2 ideas, subtle passive income on the property. That's gonna open up the floodgates for whatever else we want to do. That's what I'm telling. But you don't need 20. You don't need to do 20 big good things. You don't need to do 10 big good things. Just 1 small good decision that's gonna, and then stack it consistently. That's why I'm saying it's like you don't need to make any drastic extreme change, but subtle good decisions, small good and adding up, it's gonna get you there. And that's where, like, that's the advantage people don't realize. Just like you guys in the long term and the property. I had another conversation. I had to yell at one of my friends yesterday. You know the friend that I gave the Ethereum to, my college roommate? I had to yell at him because all of his accounts are skyrocketing, and this motherfucker is asking me for a deal to rent a house. So he's like, hey man, can you get me this rental? And I'm like, bro, why? And then he sends me all of his accounts. I'm like, you need to buy a house. Because what you guys got to realize, some of you are starting just the long term. You get the long term, you get some crypto, you get all these good quality assets. Now, you may not have the same opportunity for crypto till it comes back down, but you get the long term. You diversify a little. Next cycle comes around, long term goes up, turn it to a small property. You still have the long term. You rebuild it. Then if the crypto come down, gold, whatever, add another asset. Go another couple of years, and then boom, you're going to get another house. The whole point is every one of these cycles, little by little, they're very small actions that you may spend a couple years in between, but we're talking really big money. And little by little now you have stocks, 1 house, 2 house, another asset, another investment. And this is what's going to, before you know it, 20,000's a million, a million's 5. And it's just, you're playing your time in a good, effective manner. So, yeah, man. I think Intel will bring the divvy back. I wouldn't count on it, but you need money for that. So whenever the revenue comes up. The farm, right now I got people, the Chads who came out, man. So 2 of the Chads who visited the first time, we talked afterwards, and they're actually ready to make a commitment. So they wrote me ideas, and I'm green lighting them. Like I said, I got an offer on the property over the weekend, but I don't want to sell it yet. So I think we're going to implement some of these ideas into the end of the year. I think we might have one more meetup. I want to do like a Thanksgiving or Christmas one, but we need to make sure we could plan it effectively for all the Chads. But after the year, we'll see if there's what ideas work and not, what else we'll need and who could help, and then, or if we're going to sell it. Is Trump live? On the hunt. Let's go, baby. You have to sell the long term is haunting you. I mean, it will, but it's always worth it. Like I'm saying, I mean, realistically, I didn't like that I sold my long term. I just wanted you guys to see it. Because even even my friend, I'm telling him, I'm like, bro, you saw me sell the long term. He watches. That's why I'm like, bro, stop fucking around. Was it a Chad or a random? It's a mix of both. I mean, they're not really a Chad, but they know me. I know them personally. It's a family friend, not on my side of the family, but my girlfriend. So they told me this idea they had. They want to do the same idea. I told this on the phone with one of them, but I even met. They were with like somebody who works in like Hollywood, and there's another project going on in Malibu right now. So a lot of rich people, I didn't know this. I thought I was the only one. But a lot of rich people, all of a sudden, they all want to buy these like farms, and they want to build their own little personal thing. That's what everybody, I encountered 2 other people I hadn't met. One of them I knew, or I had met, but one that I just had no idea who the fuck this person was with the same idea. And it's kind of crazy. So that's why I started talking about it with my girlfriend's, her family friend. And yeah, they were like, what? And I showed it to them, and they're like, I want it. And I said, I'll give it to you at this price. And they said, yes. And I said, are you serious? And I was like, okay, I don't really want to sell it. But I said you could come see it, and I'm trying to work a JV out with them. So if I could get them to pay for it, and then I get like a lot out of it, or I could zone it out a little, I'm down. But I still want to try my projects, because that's what I'm telling you. I said it, every Chad who goes there, every human, is a very special property. Well, that's the thing. So this is what I was trying to tell you guys, because this is why I made the deal. I knew it had value, but look, I sold the long term, and I was saying it yesterday. I was like, it kind of sucks, because if you see where the small long term is, this account would have been over 300,000. You guys realize that? So this account would be at like 300, 320-ish maybe if we didn't sell it. So I would have made another what? Oof. I would have made like 60 grand. Maybe I would have made 30 grand minimum, I think, extra. All right. So it sucks because real estate is slow. Even then, until I sell it, I don't get the money. But I was telling you, equity. I raised my value. I raised what I was investing in a quality, safe manner. I turned 250 grand into 7 figures by doing that, right? So, are you ready? This is if I did take this offer. So this person offering me $500,000 more. If I take that offer and I say yes, after there will be taxes and all of it, but let's operate gross value for simplicity's sake. I had 270. I sell that house at the $500,000. I net $500,000 profit, and I get my $270,000 down payment back. So then theoretically, I would be redepositing about $750,000, all from the same shit that we did. And that's what I was trying to tell you, because this took me 5 years to make $250,000 on this account, right? But by using the safe leverage of real estate, by being diligent on the value and the buy, I could double that money way faster than I would have saved it. So that's the point. That's what I've done. I did it. Remember, I did it with Bitcoin. We turned 50 grand in a $250,000 or $500,000 on the Bitcoin, and I did it for another property, and I made 1.6 million in a month. So that's what I was trying. That was the same example back then. Same, but now with your long term, I don't want you guys to be afraid if it's a good deal. If it's a good deal, you're getting. That's how it works. That's why you want to be ready, get pre-approved, have the savings, and hunt. You get a good deal, bro, you buy it, and then you could always come back. So the part is it's slow. So if I'd said yes to the deal now, it would still take another 45 days probably to get the money back into my account. And now, if I'm saying I don't want to sell till minimum end of the year, that's like 4 more months. So you don't get to see it. Remember, liquidity, real estate's slow. You don't get to watch it like stocks, but it's bigger money. It doesn't move as fast. It's more stable, but it operates different. That's why you guys need to bridge this gap and get both of them. It's good money. It's safe. This is how you grow and diversify. So yeah, that's why it's like, I wouldn't be afraid. If you have a good enough deal on the property, this is exactly what I told you guys when I was doing it. It's a Bible verse. They say if you found a land, a treasure, you would sell everything you owned and go back and buy that land. That's what it says in the Bible. So that's why I'm saying when you're looking at some of these properties, then if you know it's a good deal, you got to be diligent. Don't rush it. Know what to look for, and then that's it. Boom, you do it. Why not just pure real estate? Seems like that's the true moneymaker. But my brother, why do you want to limit me? Why do you only want me to do one thing? Why do you only want to do one thing? Especially when they go hand in hand. This is what I mean by diversification and adding asset classes. We want all of it. I'm getting all of it. So are you. Why wouldn't we? While we're waiting, the stocks grow your savings, and then the real estate grows your stocks. And then you rinse and repeat to become an owner and acquire as much as possible. That's it. That's how it works. So that's why instead of setting my savings into a bank account, making nothing, not getting anything, it's growing. Half of our down payment, more of it, came from just gains. So you put your money in the stocks, let it work, you get that paper money, you get compound, you get all of it. And then that way you don't have to feel rushed as you look for a real estate deal because your money's still working in stocks or crypto or gold. Again, diversification. We want all of it, not just one. And then, whoop, you're able to go get the real estate. Once the stocks are ready or once the real estate's ready, and then what are you going to do when you're done with the real estate? You're going to put the money back in the stocks because the money got to keep working. Or you're going to buy another house. But yeah, it's all of it. That's why a lot of the extremism wants you to just do one. Or they're saying you can't do this and that or this. No, it's all of it. Little by little, small good decisions. That's what it is. It's not quick. I just explained the other cycle. You're going to go a couple of years at a time. You got to build to the first stage, diversify out at the second. We got to get a property, and then we rinse and repeat after property one. And meanwhile, and then you're doing all of it, hopefully increasing income too. Yo, CRISPR and CGTX bonds. Yo, check CGTX, bro. I think there's something with FDA or gene editing. Yeah, I noticed that. They both moved out of nowhere. There's no options on CGTX. Watch CRISPR, though. Something with gene editing. I don't want to play CRISPR. I would have played CGTX, but I'm not going to do shares. That would have had cheapies. Yeah, the CRISPR chain's fucked. Not too bad, but it's not really moving. That's the one with the move. Rivian, Georgia plant. Yeah, I saw that pop on TLT. I don't know if we got a bond auction or not. Money is biological, baby. Protect it. And that's why with all this, man, that's why, like, for real, I hope you all stay stable and, like, stop feeling pressure. Stop thinking you're behind. Stop looking at the crazy world and using that as your standard, because you need to be in a good, stable mindset so you could use your time wisely and not get yourself off of the path. It's like I'm saying, every couple of years, you're making good, small decisions. It's going to compound, bro. That's it. All you got to do is remain stable. I told you, success and stability go hand in hand. Look around. Most of your examples of success are very stable. Most people just talk themselves out of this whole plan because it's too slow, but it's not. It feels slow. You just got to get used to moving in it. Core weave! God is good, baby. Amen. Amen. NVIDIA, Core Weave, couple things dropping. I mean, it's been a while since we've actually dumped. There's CRISPR with the second candle. But yeah, unless big tech moves, we're gonna move right now. If not, there is still a lot of activity. It's just not on the index level right now. One thing you're buying for diversification is Pokemon cards. So we had this talk the other day. We were asking why, but in the sake of this conversation, that is not a real asset, okay? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to say that it's weird or anything. I don't really care, but that's not real. That's not a real asset. So please don't make this mistake. A lot of you, we're talking stocks, real estate, and businesses. Private equity. That's the only thing I will accept. If gold, silver, crypto, those are other alternatives. But yeah, collectibles, I view collectibles as a hobby. I view it as enjoyment. So that's a good way to look at it, because if you have any investment that is like a hobby or a collectible, you have to make sure you enjoy it, because if you don't enjoy it, then it's not really a good choice. But I view it as a hobby. It's not what we're talking about here. Which, again, you're free to do it. You're free to do whatever you want out of enjoyment. That's your life. But, the cycle, what we're talking about, real diversification, I want you to have equities, stocks, real estate, alternatives at a good price, and then private equity, and then we could talk about the Pokemon cards and collectibles and even artwork, because I don't think some of you should be in artwork until later. But because I do art too, but I view, a Basquiat is much more different than a Ash Ketchum, in my opinion. But I'm sure that'll be debatable. Cash out of 401k if the deal makes sense. Yep. Emphasis on the deal making sense. Like I said, just like the farm, you guys, I think the farm was a good example. You heard me when I talked about it. I did want a Colt compound. I really did. And it worked. And I wanted to give you guys a good example. The reason you saw me sell everything. Why? Because it was a really good deal. I comped it out. I waited, all of it. It worked. And I knew the value. It was very objectively cheap. That's all you got to do. So if that deal is good enough, I have zero hesitation in selling anything to get a discounted real estate that I know has instant equity. That is my favorite thing in the world, probably. I am still buying other people's houses. But again, if it's not for me to be a buyer, it has to make sense for both me and you. Otherwise, if I can't give you a good offer, I'll send you to somebody, or you list it. Heinz, Sat's on the low, and Micron, and then the SPY ticks up. No. Oh, see, I don't like. Have you ever done that before? Because I keep seeing people get into this. So I would be careful with building if you've never done it. So it's not really the same. So if you got a construction project, you got to buy the lot and then build this. Remember, that's 18 months minimum. You guys are aware of that, right? So factor in interest, cost, holding. So imagine, man, look at the long term. That was just a couple months ago. Your stocks would have made more money, or would have made money. We have money in the property and it's valuable, but I don't see anything. You see what I'm saying? If anything, I have to pay for the property still. I'm still paying that fucking mortgage. I have to spend money. So when you buy a lot, you're going to spend 18 months minimum. So yeah, even then, even if the builder's doing it all, that's what I'm saying. If he's going to do it all, why is he going to give you free 30%? That's another topic, but I don't like building for the first time. So I would say probably no to that. I would not sell your 401k to get into a build if you haven't already built 2 houses and have the process, like you have experience with it. I think that's a bad first decision, just because it takes longer. If you fuck up, all you're left with is a lot that you can't live in, and yeah, it takes a lot of time. So personally, it's what I've said for a lot of chats. Okay, that's your wife's uncle. That's better. That makes sense now. Do you see what I'm saying? A rando coming up to you and telling you, I'll build it, give me your money, buy the lot, let me split it for you. Nobody would do that. Your wife's uncle will. Do you get what I'm saying? So I like that. That's way better information. But even then, if you have, I could consider it. If you have, what's uncle's experience? So I think you got to talk with uncle, or make sure uncle is really done this several times. And yeah, you're going to have, if he has the track record, we might be able to do it. But that's what, do you understand my logic? I don't want you to go unexperienced into a new build with nobody on your side. Are you hearing me? So I hope you have a good relationship too with uncle. But yeah, if he's been successful, he's doing it out of the interest of family and his niece, you know what I'm saying? And now you're getting involved, that makes sense. But anything else wouldn't make sense. And you don't want to get into that unknown with that much risk. So yeah, send me the details. I'll look over it. I'll, at that point, verify uncle and make sure that the numbers are conservative. I would not rely or go forward on unconservative numbers. AKA, comp it out. What do you think the value is going to be? Lower it by 20%. Then take the cost and then raise them by 30%. If you still like the deal, you're in the money. Sally. Yeah, I think the simple, fast building timeline, and this is fast, is 18 months. 9 months to permit, 9 months to build. That's California. Obviously, some take longer, some are shorter, but if you have experience, money, and a good lot, 18 months. That's minimum. You're not doing anything prior than 18 months. 9 months to permit, 9 months to build. The building part is actually really fast. The sad part is that California regulations, and most places, even beyond California, you're going to realize you got to do a lot of shit, bro. You have to even make sure, the water flow of your build and other things, environmental. There's a lot of planning that they have to approve, and it takes time. So 9 months to permit, 9 months to build. That's your minimum. What's the, how are you going to put up the money? So do you have to take a construction loan? Are you doing cash? What's the, and then you're going to walk away owner of a lot? About property with grandfather's septic and buying a trailer. If it's your first property and you don't have experience handling these things, just like I told Homeboy, I don't think y'all should get involved in that. it's a lot, because things can cost money, cost time, and then if you've never dealt with it, bro, it will get overwhelming, and then if you make a wrong decision, it gets even worse. That's the problem. And I don't want your first property, your first or second property. We want this to be a launching pad. We want it to be a launching pad of equity. I don't want it to be a burden. And it can be if you do some of these things. Buying just land, trying to take on an extensive amount of construction to bring the value on. These are things you should avoid on your first or second property. Because, like, if you buy that land and it has, like, a septic on it, and that's your first property, you're getting a loan, you're buying it. How much is it going to cost to buy a trailer? That's more money out of pocket. You can't get a loan for it, too, depending on how it is. And then you got to move it. And then you got to install it. And then what about permitting? What if the city gets mad at you? I've had that happen. There's so many things. And then now it's like, you bought this piece of land, which was already debatable in terms of value, and then now you start this project, try to add it, and it requires all this money, and you don't know how you're going to be able to use it or how long it'll take. Before you know it, you're never going to buy a house again, because you're going to be like, this is so terrible. That's how some people got turned off by real estate. You bite off more than you can chew. So, and I think for a lot of people, first house, second house, you shouldn't be doing a new build. Again, like, I like Keith's situation. You guys know, if you know people close to you who have extensive experience and are willing to get you involved and it makes rational sense, you could explore that. But if you're going on your own and you ain't never done this before, that's a good way to take on a lot of liability and costs. Sometimes it works, but if it doesn't, you will get fucked, and we don't want that. So I would try to avoid that for your first property. Car washes are booming, dude. I've seen car washes pop up everywhere. Any car wash I see for sale is running like a stable 8 to 12 cap rate. Dude, car washes are money. It's actually nuts. I think no motion because the front run, a lot of big moves leading into it. Tomorrow's the day. There wasn't too many headlines, but I think this is consequence of extensive front run. You know why, right? You know what these car washes are doing nowadays? They're doing the SaaS model. It's literally subscription as a service to wash cars. It's like $20 a month, unlimited car washes. It's genius. But dude, they're popping up everywhere. Even getting into one is hard because if you want to buy it, they're charging you a very high future rate because it makes so much money. I think you're on the right track. Get in touch with car wash owners. If you could talk to people who have experience, that's the best way to learn ins and outs. Right? Here, I don't want to hear about a water shortage. Yeah, the touchless car wash. I've seen those too. I'm telling you, bro. They're booming. There's a place in San Diego, Soapy Joe's. That's the one that started the SaaS model. Bro, they're building a new car wash in one part of San Diego every 3 months. It's insane. And they're massive and they're money. The mobile market, convenience machines, like mobile plumber and shit like that, or like mobile handyman, fire. Anything of those, all the trades are still popping and very, very valuable. I mean, I told you guys, bro, I was trying to get this stuff ready for the farm. Dude, people were quoting me a ridiculous amount to just build shit. The easiest shit. I could have done it. I just I didn't have time. And it's literally a bunch of stuff. That's why I found one guy give me a fair price. He did all of it. Nestle Bulke decided to step down earlier than planned. Oh, I know what you're talking about, like the little mini bars. It's like a fake Whole Foods. Like instead of a vending machine, it's like a giant like Whole Foods thing with like snacks and all that. Those are new. Those are popping now. I don't know the longevity of it. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's cool. They look good. It's like an AI vending machine. It's like a mini convenience store. So you buy this thing, it's like 20, 50 grand. It has like, you stock it with like snacks, fruits, all that. Then there's a cooler next to it with drinks. And then you put them in like either any public office thing. It's like a really nice vending machine. It's a vending machine that looks like a little kiosk. And micro markets. That's the term. Thank you. Yeah, micro markets. I think a mobile micro markets or smart market, and that's where they. It's a new thing. It's cool. It's just like a vending machine. So I think a couple people who are early, you get it in the right place, it'll be good. But I don't know the longevity. Yeah, Rivian, they had the plan. That was the only headline earlier, but it is moving right now on something. And then you have Nestle comments right now. EU and Indonesia agree to trade deal. NVIDIA experienced Rivian's Dune Edition in XR at Autodesk University. So NVIDIA posted about Rivian. CRISPR still too. I don't know if he would have made money on the play, but that moved. CMG 500 million buyback. Tomorrow is the Fed. Woo! They sell a micro market for $2,100. Really? That's not bad, but shipping is gonna cost you $2 grand. Oh shit. Yeah, no, that one, they have nicer ones. They do have them there, but that's not the like good one. You want the one with like a kiosk, a desk. Yeah, these aren't it. Yeah, they have it on Alibaba. IonQ's popping. That could be at the Autodesk thing too. But it's not supposed to be just one of these. It's supposed to be like 4 of these, a place for like snacks, and like a little like self-checkout kiosk. This is just a portion of it. But yeah, you could buy it on Baba. There's a shipping's gonna be expensive too. GPCR, you got a couple movers. FDA determined Eli's video on Zepbound injection is false or misleading. That's hitting again, but it bounced since there. Dude, today's flying by. Start getting some push-ups. I need to go to the bathroom.
So you have the same opportunity, starting opportunity in the financial stocks today that you had 9 months ago when the picture was nowhere near as cheerful as it is right now. And I think that's unique. I think that augurs for a really great finish to the year. And think about all the benefits, lower rates. You've got You've got expanding margins in a lot of areas. You've got this whole fintech boom, the stablecoin component that's come along, a lot of growth, the asset management growth, everything is up on the year. And you've got the capital markets are back in action. So it's like so many different levers to be pulled, so many different ways to win. So yes, I still like JP Morgan, of course. And I'm also finding a lot of great stocks in the space that have made my best stocks in the market list. We now have 39 financials, I think, on our list of best stocks in the market. It's pretty unique.
And Steph, you don't own Citigroup or JP Morgan, but a bunch of other names here. I feel like all the rest. Capital One, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
Sit and stay as rates go lower? I mean, is there any sort of portfolio pruning you need to do here?
I will buy more Capital One. That's a fairly new position. I think the Discover financial transaction is transformational. Quite frankly, they get into the payments network business and they have size and scale, and I think you're going to see a re-rating there. I would hold on to the banks that I do own. Wells Fargo's buying back more stock than they said they were going to. Morgan Stanley sounded giddy last week at the Barclays conference about M&A. We've seen completed M&A transactions year to date up 40%, in North America up 103%. So M&A is just starting to really click. But of course, you have the steep yield curve. These companies are talking about better NII, net interest income, net interest margins, fee growth from capital markets. So yes, they've had a nice run, but to Josh's point, I still think they're very attractive at something like 14 times for the ones I own, at least. And, you know, the market's at 22 times, so it's still at a discount.
Interestingly, I was talking to an unnamed executive, a source fairly high up, who was talking about the Capital One cafes and actually how they are fairly attractive to consumers, and it's turned into a good marketing tool, which I thought was quite interesting.
Whatever it takes, Courtney. Right? I will take whatever they want to do.
A Capital One cafe.
There you go. I mean, it sounds kind of catchy.
If they serve a pumpkin spice latte, I'm in.
Citigroup, are you listening? Citigroup Cafe, I'll get behind it.
Jim, I'd love to just real quick before we go here talk about tech, because I think you deserve another victory lap. Look at your shares of Alphabet, right?
Josh, Steph, is this the usual thing where I get a lot of pats on the back?
43.5%.
I like hanging with Courtney.
Dude, Scott is watching this show right now and leaping out of his chair. You are so dead next week.
Well, you know.
Enjoy it.
Awesome.
Well, look, you know, Alphabet, I was surprised in May when the stock was down around 160 and people were literally talking about an existential threat. And I didn't see it that way. I think if you go down to simple principles of investing, the bigger you are in any industry, the more safety you have. You have more resources, whether it's capital markets to finance, whether it's attracting talent to build new products, to respond to competitive threats, whether it's a customer base that you can fall back on. Look, Alphabet had all of these things, and that's why I was surprised by the rhetoric I was hearing in May, and I just felt like, all right, it's the behemoth, it's Google, I'm going to stay with it. It's been vindicated both in the judicial realm, where they've had obviously this penalty that wasn't as draconian as predicted. But right now, I think it just goes with the markets. We have to wait until earnings come out and see if those competitive threats are now starting to have an effect. But for right now, it just goes with the market. I'm sticking with it.
Joe Terno yesterday was saying sort of those judicial rulings really was an unlock for this stock.
It cleared the runway. Cleared the runway.
Yeah, we had to go there before we wrapped up. I couldn't believe we made it through that whole block without talking about tech and lower rates. But it felt like you deserved a victory lap. When I saw the stats, I thought 43%, 5%. That was a good one. Well, coming up, more committee moves. Stephanie Link is ready. She's got another new buy. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. And later, Josh Brown is back with an update to his best stocks in the market. Halftime back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, bro, do your push-ups. I actually need more. I went to go get carbo. I did the foot one, but I didn't do the twist. I need to get a twist in.
Gnostic speaking with Brandon and Kyle Lutnick, the chair and vice chair, respectively, of Cantor Fitzgerald.
Yeah, man, stand up, move around.
Hey, taking a look at markets as we're midday through the trading session today. Look at that. Dow down 0.2%. The NASDAQ down fractionally. The S&P down about 0.1%. Coming up next, Dan Moorhead of Pantera on the wave of crypto IPOs. That's next.
Pantera. All right. Not bad. Pantera, that sounds so familiar. Yeah, didn't you say Pantera? What about Panera? No? Pantera. Yeah, Rivian and then IonQ and a couple of others moved, but we're chilling, man. It's so weird because the high-low ticker keeps going out a little bit more, but then the index is not moving. And then, yeah, China, Baba, Baidu, all of it. It's going crazy. Lulu, do you love me? Are you long-term? Always keep buying when it's down low, and it's cheap still. So I bought it, and I'll keep on diversifying, because they're lying, and they're trying to make everybody a radical. But it's bullshit. We want a long term. I don't even know what song this is or the melody. I keep talking, but fuck Bloomberg and CNBC. They want you to be a radical nut job like them because they get paid by all these people who are radical and they keep all the power. Okay. Swiss franc climbs strongest since 2015. House GOP draft with fund bills through government November 21st. That's not. It's gonna cut off again. I already know. It's a pump fake. I don't know why they do this.
Welcome back. Stephanie has another move. Steph, you bought Aptiv. This is not one I know much about. Tell me why you like it.
It's an auto parts company, but it's spinning out its software business. And we have a catalyst November. They're having an analyst day. And we're going to learn more about the information about the spin. You know I like spins.
Weird, but I lost
work.
it.
GE's up 422% since Larry Culp actually
Guys,
took
I lost
the
my
realm
Carbo.
as CEO
I don't know
GE
how.
and split up
It's
everything.
possible.
Wow.
Spins work. 3M, one of the better games in industrials last year because they spun out their businesses too. So I think this is an interesting story because I think the auto parts piece, as we talked about, is in a trough at this moment in time, and I think could do better. And they obviously have a lot of auto exposure, but they're going to diversify into other end markets. They're growing mid-single digits, and margins are in expansion mode. And then the software piece, the total addressable market is like 90 billion. They're growing mid-single digits, and I think when they get away from the parent, they'll be able to focus more on growth and see an acceleration in revenue. So it's a spin story, and that's the catalyst, and that's the reason. In addition to maybe auto parts are just kind of lagging, and maybe we're in for a recovery.
That is interesting, and obviously with tariffs on autos, I've thought too that auto parts are an interesting place for us to study, see what happens if we fix up the cars instead of buying brand new ones.
Well, and this stock is trading at 8.7 times EBITDA. I mean, it's awfully cheap. It's lagged. The whole sector's been, terrible.
Sure.
So, but this is best in class. And by the way, Tesla is one of its biggest clients.
Oh, that's key. That's critical. Well, let's get to some calls of the day. Rothschild's downgrading Live Nation to neutral. Josh, you own it.
Yeah, look, the stock is up a lot, and I know sometimes on the sell side, they'll do these types of downgrades or upgrades out of nowhere just to generate some activity on a trading desk or whatever, or have something to say. But in this case, I think I understand what their point is. Like, we still have this lawsuit overhanging the company. We still don't know what the resolution has been, and the company has already, the share price has already gotten a lot of credit for how great the business is. And the business truly is great. Stock is 3% below 52-week highs. It's up 31% year to date, 74% over the last 12 months. Look at their last earnings report. Through July, they sold 130 million concert tickets for the year, which is up over last year, which was another record year. Double-digit attendance increases internationally. They said over 40% of global stadium shows sold out 95% of their tickets within the first week of being listed. Spending at venues is up, concession spending is up, all double digits, and there are absolutely no signs of weakening consumer demand that the company can see. So, look, I understand the downgrade. I just don't think as an investor that's really the thing that you want to have as a focal point. The reality is, ultimately, it'll get settled or figured out. It'll be a dollar amount, and life will go on. People will still want to go out and see live music the next day. This is literally the best pure play for one of the hottest secular growth trends in the world, and I just don't want to let it go. So I remain long. I think the stock trades higher.
Experience matters. Look at that, up 67%, down just marginally on that downgrade today. Jim, I want to lob you one. Adobe added to UBS's 30 for 30 list. You own this one. They favor it for the industry-leading position, ramp up of AI-related offerings.
This has been a very difficult stock, Adobe, and I'm sticking with it for now, Courtney. But I'm not pounding the table on this like I was on Google over the past few months. It may very well be bottoming here. I mean, we see a ridiculously low valuation, mid-teens for a software company. Estimates are now starting to peak up a little bit, and you're getting analyst coverage like this. So I'm sticking with it. But as new money comes into client accounts, I'm not rushing out to buy Adobe. There's still a lot to be proven by the company, particularly with regards to competition. I know I was just saying that with Google. You know, Adobe is a $147 billion market cap. Google is a $3 trillion market cap. So bear in mind that difference. I'm hanging on to it, but I'm nervous.
Okay, fair enough. Down 21% year to date for Adobe. Well, up next, Mike Santoli joins us for his midday word. We're back right after this.
Oh, yes, I was muted. No. Yeah, I said do your push-ups. I'm pretty much done. Yeah, I was talking there for a little bit. And then I had to ban Toriano because he posted a play. I was saying, Toriano, I actually like you a lot. I like him. Toriano's a great guy. I have no ill will towards him at all. But you guys have known the rules for several months now. So it's unfortunate when I have to ban some of y'all that I don't want to ban, but you know, we gotta follow rules. There's a reason why we have them. And when we don't enforce them fairly, that is exactly how we got to this radicalism. But yeah, small caps, I think they're gonna benefit the most off of rate cuts to a degree, but I don't think we're guaranteed. It all depends. Boeing workers vote on union proposed contract bid. Bobo. Okay, SPY finally moving. Like I was saying, bro, the last couple of last like hour or so, you've had a decent amount of movement. And like, look at the low ticker about to max out, but it's been a while since the index moved. The small caps could be front run. That's why I'm saying I don't think it's guaranteed, and we'll see afterwards. And that'll hinge on credibility. Retail sales, it was strong, but strong isn't necessarily mean credible. So like we said yesterday, if it was too strong, you lose some credibility. And I think the data today was like right at the line because it was strong. It wasn't a weak economy, but then if it's really strong, would that rate cut be credible? No. If the economy is weak, the rate cut is credible. And that's where that fits in. But then at least you don't have to worry about recession yet. Oh, which one is that? Boeing defense workers strike to continue until company accepts. EDU StubHub stock begins trading on Wednesday. Barron's is pumping it. I forgot. That's literally... Oh, so that's why they're talking Live Nation. It's funny. Then you have StubHub tomorrow. IPO. That wasn't a coincidence. I think it's the news cycle. The Atlanta Fed GDP, it'll affect us, but not going to be the set-all be-all. Just a lot of like little data. Anything besides CPS and non-farms, those will all collectively form credibility, but never by themselves. And then CPI, inflation, and then corporate spending or corporate profits or lack thereof, and then consumer, those will be the bigger ones. Well, just every time Russell goes up, it just comes down. It never breaks out. And then if it does break out, it's a small breakout, and then everybody goes back to big tech. Because remember, half of the Russell is not profitable. It's literally unprofitability. Myrna, RH on the high. It's kind of moving. Yeah, RH going up 1.5. Kato's 2. There was one more I saw. A lot of oil today and energy. And then the Nasdaq's barely red. Now the SPY's actually moving though. Look, Tesla's moving, and then that almost maxed out low ticker flipped to like maybe 60% on the 30-second on the high ticker. NTIP, Uber on the low. But yeah, the SPY, bro, last couple hours, a lot of you have noticed today is just very different in terms of the choppiness. Not much has happened, no real rotation. Half the Mag 7 is up, half of it is down. It's different. Rivian and Tesla going up still. And bonds too, long term, TLT or long end. Nice. Is the benefit of low rates for small caps overstated? They'll just spend it all on buybacks. Well, I think that's why it never hits. That's because, so it's not guaranteed, because it's more likely overstated than not, but there still is a benefit. And there is the buybacks, but then there's also the broad economy too. You know, if we go through changes, some of these small caps are like a lot of material mineral plays. And if we do watch a shift that kind of helps them out a little bit, a portion of the Russell could get a lot better. But then, yeah, it's still just assuming they're going to do good off of rate cuts. That logic can only take you so far because some of them are zombies. A lot of them have been. And then here's a chart for you. Small caps versus large over the last 10 years. So pretty much since like 2011, all the money went to big cap. So thank you, Janet Yellen, Obama, and MMT. Everybody just started taking the printed fake money, and instead of buying small caps, they actually just bought Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google. So now that's why people want this to shift, because like in 01, it shifted and the money went back to small caps. So usually these like cyclical flip-flops, it happens, but we don't know if it's going to happen right now. So if Trump, the rate cuts and everything the next few years, if it really supports activity, and again, more credible economy factors, you might watch a flip-flop and then small caps take over. Or if it does what it does, it's going to take another 2 years, maybe another 4 years down, just like kind of one of these, and then we'll flip or we'll stay here. That's what people are forgetting. This is where I think we're going to get clapped. That's why I'm telling you, I like the small caps, I like the plays, I like the logic, but I know it's not guaranteed. And you shouldn't be naive either, because look at the 70s, our favorite, with inflation. It did that. Large caps ran up, or small caps ran up, then the large caps took over. That's what it means when it goes down. But then look, 71 to 81, a fucking decade, it stayed in the same range. That's where you are right now. So like if the small caps just stay the same, how it has been the last 4 years, we'll spend another 4 years just dribbling around here at the low, essentially. So it doesn't have to move. The problem a lot of us make is that we think it's either going to go all big cap and plummet, or it's going to rocket up and go all small cap. The real death trade is if it just stays where it's at and nothing moves. Ta-da! So yeah. Well, that's why our strategy will kill it. If you have dividends, you're saving, got that diversification. If the next 10 years don't move, you're just only going to grow. So I'm not afraid of that scenario, but some people will, depending on how their portfolio's structured. By Dunias, Habibi. Oh, NVO. The divvy stocks will change to reflect the risk-free rate eventually. Credibility is going to alter that, because it would have already changed now if there was more credibility. But once people feel credible and aren't going to fight against whatever the Fed's doing, the risk-free and the stocks attached to the dividends and all that will adjust. But they didn't in the last 12 months because they didn't believe the rate cut. That's what happened in September. Bro, the SPY could drop 10% and we'd still be very high. It's actually kind of mind-blowing. That's why, like, every single one of these days, small good decisions, bro, it just adds up a ton. Because it's wild where we started, how low we went this year, and then it's just little by little, bro. It's just like, what the fuck? I'm telling you, a 10% drop, we would still be up. I would still be up 20%. Yalla, habibi, yalla. SAP kind of moving up out of nowhere. They were just red there for a little bit. Oh, we haven't had that 3% day. You're right. This is one of the longest times between 3%ers. Because, again, the last 3% day was huge. And it's been hard to top that manufacturing since then, if you know what I'm saying. You're probably like at 80 days. Maybe 90, and then there's only a couple other times in history. Visa and cars, we were asked about that yesterday. Oracle just keeps coming down, bro. I'm glad I made it free in the morning, because those plays sucked all day yesterday. Then they popped up 150%. Made it free. You had another window, but now they're back to break even. So if you didn't sell the rest, you're done. And then TTD went red to green. Yeah, they dropped Luigi Mangione state terrorism charges. Oh, no, I don't think so. No. So if we didn't have the April panic sell, I think the market would look drastically different right now. Because everybody would have reacted way differently to everything else Donald Trump announced. In a weird way, I think the Democrats would have got what they wanted if they just let it play out naturally. But they didn't. So that's what's been fucked up this year. Because it's so hard to top the volatility you went through. That's why I was freaking out in the beginning of the year, and I was telling you guys, I was like, this is bullshit. I was like, what do you mean April of 2025 is more uncertain than March and April of 2020? That make no sense. How? Over what? The guy talking words? And I'm not talking about Charlie. Rest in peace. I'm saying the president. All because of this tariff plan. That was weird. That was manufactured. I said it at the time. It's just like you can't top that level of volatility. They found a way to bring the market down 20, 30% on thin air, and they got a lot of people to play the game. So now it drops, it instantly recovers. Trump smashes home just the most ridiculous numbers you've ever heard of. So now you can't ever be surprised, because what the fuck you mean 150% tariff and a 50% retaliation? And you've never seen numbers like this in your life. And you've never seen them manufacturing thin air. You know, again, they made you have more literal uncertainty on paper per every metric than 2020, when motherfuckers were dying, falling in China to America, closing the economy. At some point, just a couple months ago, some of you believed it. You legitimately believed there was more uncertainty in the globe and economy than when the economy was literally not moving. So that's why I'm saying it's hard to top that. I think the whole market would have looked completely different if we never had to go through that, because then the market would have been responding to Trump naturally, and then it would have heard what he was saying, and it wouldn't have had a 30% cushion recovery that it was processing, because now everybody positioned. That's what I'm saying. After the 30% drop, you could have bought the dip. It didn't matter what the fuck the dude said, and people knew that. Some didn't. So it's wild, but I think it would have played out not differently if it was natural rather than kind of manufactured. CrowdStrike NVIDIA to build a secure system. Oh, they're moving a little bit. Trump admin clears first Ukraine arms and package paid for by allies. Baidu. So yeah, you guys should sell the flip shares if you want. They're up now, finally. They've been up. You're up like $10 a share, but still. But if you don't want to play this game again for another 8 months, this would be the moment. That's only for some of you who have really held that long with me. That's good money though now. Okay. ADM. There's AMT, you motherfucker. Finally. Give me one. Dude, I thought TTD was gonna go fucking nuts. I'm mad I didn't buy the dip. And B, going on your taper CD. I know 50% on Baidu in the long term is amazing. Because at first you only had 50% on Baba. So now you got fucking, dog, like it's Noah's Ark, dog. You got two of each, son. So yeah, I like it. I do want more Whirlpool, but we got to lower our target. Because we were buying Whirlpool in the 80s, 90s with a fucking divvy. So it still has a divvy, it's just lower. That's what you got to watch out for. That's why, like, Whirlpool at higher prices, just let it Whirlpool. But if it ever dumps again and starts getting murdered, I think it's a viable target. But we can't buy it at the same price we bought it at. Because, again, we were getting paid double the dividend at last time we bought at 80 or 90. And it's still at 80 or 90 with half the dividend. So I'm glad that means the market likes it, but you're getting a different value every time you purchase it now. Good morning, Raj. Good morning. BG, that's a second food play. BG and ADM were going up. Yeah, AMT, the premiums didn't jack up yet. The front run was terrible. So yeah, that's good to know though. Because last week I did all the plays the day of, they all hit. Every play front ran missed. So if you went one day earlier, you actually got punished for it. Just on the Catalyst event ones. And then some of them didn't produce shit. So this week definitely just probably the worst week out of the last 3 or 4 related to this approach. Duocon, I remember you said something about that. That one didn't even show up on my list. And then there's a couple of other ones I just didn't fucking know about. BG, there it is. That's food. And then watch ADM. That was already going up. Yeah, both of them. ADM and BG getting volume. I think the good plays I think it's a good time to scale into UPS. The worst case that's going to happen, they're going to cut the dividend and it's going to go to 70. Maybe 60, and then that's it. It's not going. If it goes anything below there, you're talking a different economy. But at that point, that's why I'm like, and then you're not the dividend. Just like Whirlpool, the dividend may not be the same, and that's what's going to be your issue. But UPS is struggling. Here's the thing that most of the plays we've bought, except for like NVO, but even NVO, they're like down. Like look at that. That's a 4-year trend of dropping. So this is what the only reason I like about Chipotle. It's been down for like a year and a half, 2 years now. But this is like a fucking momentum play that's running. So this is very different than anything we've bought, and I like it. Because I told some of you, I think some of you need to look at your portfolio. You don't want only names that are down. I don't want you to build a portfolio of only fucking 20 years sold off. You get what I'm saying? Think about it. We own fucking Meta. We owe Netflix because we took the drops when they finally did this. You see what I'm saying? When you finally found a name that dropped and then we pull it back up, you see what I'm saying? It's still up, but we got to buy the momentum. But we bought it where it broke the ultimate level. That's why some of these were easy. Netflix, Meta, Chipotle would be like right here. But we were buying Meta literally right here and Netflix. That's what I'm saying is the difference. You see what I'm saying? Chipotle is like right here. You're giving back a couple of years. But we were buying here. Damn. We've really killed that shit. But, yeah. Ta-da. So that's I hope you see that difference. Because, like I said, Apple, CRM, Chipotle, these are different. These are value, but they're not value. Do you understand what I'm telling you? That's different than like a Nike that's broke the level, given up 5 years. This is still a good play, though, because Nike, you could still see it. But like I'm saying, some of these have really, really came down. You don't want to deal with that. You don't want too many of those. I don't want you to have 1,000 names that are all down. Right? We want to maximize value because that's our only chance. Like, think about Baba. We bought Baba when it was a good time, but that gave up a lot of gains. But now we don't want to... what's the one that failed? Like, JD and even Baidu took a long time. So... I hope you see what I'm talking about because I do like UPS and I think you could scale in UPS, Chipotle. I like UPS better than Target because I already have other retail consumer exposure. But I do like Target. I just don't feel the same way about Target as I do. I think UPS is better. But I also think it doesn't mean they're a better company. I think it's better for my portfolio. And I think it's more broader, less consumer related, even because it's also consumer and business. So other than that, we'll see. Snap was a fail. You're correct, but it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, brother. So I'm sorry me telling you $90 Meta bothered your soul. But yes, I failed many, many times. But that's not what we're discussing. I appreciate you. So, like I said, Target, I don't like as much. UPS, I like, but it's giving up. It's struggling. Chipotle is struggling, but it hasn't struggled fully, kind of like NVO. So keep in mind, some of you guys, you should get some names that have upside for you. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you're not getting only names that have sold off and have no momentum. That's why Chipotle and some other ones have caught my eye, like CRM, Apple, before Apple popped this year. I did like that. And I don't think Snap was a fail, believe it or not. I think Walgreens was a fail. If you want to upgrade, I failed on Beyond. That was only a $20, or was it $70? Overstock. But Snap, down 30% in 5 years, I don't see that as a fail. Because the other account, we got to take the tax loss, and then on the other year, we got the gain from the covered calls. So, and like I'm saying, maybe one of the other ones. But yeah, you guys do that at times where it doesn't, like I'm gonna ask you, why did you say that? It doesn't really add to the conversation. Yes, all of my trades are public. Everybody knows everything I do on there. And like I'm saying, I want you to understand quality and not. And Snapchat was never one of those theories. We weren't buying Snapchat when rates were doing what they were doing. We weren't buying Snapchat when certain value names were at 20, 30-year lows. I mean, let me put it into context. When we were buying Snapchat, Bobo was probably in the 200s. So, yeah. But I want you guys to understand, because I've gone through various plays. Instead of maybe looking at, did Josh do good or bad? That's part of it, because you should be able to see success. And I'm not trying to hide anything. So, and I think my track record wins. So, but you got to think about it. We were buying Snap when we started. We also were buying MO when we started. Then the years went on. We were buying Coca-Cola and MO while everybody was chasing Snapchat still, but we said no to Snapchat. We started buying Coca-Cola and MO. And then we started buying other things. You guys don't realize it. Every other year or so, we have a different mini dynamic that we're going after in the long term, while still following the main 10-year rule and broader plan, growth, dividends, value, all that. You don't see it? We started with growth. We had the Snapchat era. We had the Airbnb era. And even within all those eras, we were buying other things that balanced it out. And then every couple of years, one would do good, one wouldn't. We were adjusting within it. Why can't you guys see that? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what has happened to some of your brains that has turned you into seeing one thing, judging it at that level, and then not going and view the full picture is what I need you all to see. And it's very inspiring because you'll see the full picture highlights. You don't need to be perfect. That's why I want you to see it. I don't mind, again, all of these names are either break even or down, right? It's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. It was never immediate. Even our focus, our little mini focuses under the umbrella of the main goal, it changes. Our portfolio spoke over the years. So Snapchat was speaking at one time, and MPW was speaking, right? That was another failure, but that was different. But they're all, again, they're speaking at the moment. But again, for every MPW, that was the same era. We grabbed the Netflix and the Meta. Do you see why my mind wanted that type of play? I already had a different quality. And then 2 years later, again, I think the part people don't like, Airbnb. Airbnb was another, kind of dead money, I would say. Wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. I mean, you're down on it, depending on where you positioned, you're up. It didn't do shit though, right? But think about it. What else was I buying with Airbnb? You guys forgot. I could show you it all. Look at the timing. Look at where I stopped. Look at where I started. And this is where I'm hoping your experience has lended it to you, but if you are misinterpreting it, I don't think it's serving you as well. So what was I buying at the same period? So look, we started December 20. Last Airbnb purchase was May 2022. What else was in that process? So think about it. I start buying this growth. It's not moving as much. I'm sure other things were really, like, let me tell you this. Some of your favorite stocks today, what were their prices in 2020 to 2022? So think about it. I did go with Airbnb because I loved it. But was Josh really that biased? I don't think so, brother. I think everything else was fucking expensive. There was a different play, and then Josh was also buying a bunch of fucking dividend stocks when nobody wanted to fucking own them, as you could see. And then we also, believe it or not, let's go back pre-divvy. Right before 2022, we were snagging some Abivai at 109. And same period, a little bit more Abivai. Do you see what there was other things. It's all, every year we have a couple of plays. There's a couple of segments. So don't forget that, man. Don't forget that. And like I'm telling you now, that's why I'm like, we have a lot of value this year. We have a couple of plays. I need you. The problem is we've put so much time now, and some of you have followed along, and some of you made other decisions. I need you to have the skill right now to let your portfolio speak to you. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, we bought Uber too after Airbnb. That was 2022 as well. But do you see what I'm saying? I want it to speak to you right now, and you need to be looking for your other plays. You need to be able to find which makes the most sense to you. Should you be buying deep value dividend, or should you be buying growth momentum that's 30% off but still overpriced? Well, that's the thing though. So Snapchat was with Abivai and IRM, but that was its own 2-year period. That's what I'm saying. After a certain amount of time, we stopped buying all of them. Motherfuckers conveniently forgot that. You know why? Because we did what we needed to. We grabbed the growth, we grabbed value, the value worked, the growth didn't. The next cycle, both of the growth hit and the value hit. So buying MO, Netflix, and Meta, those all hit. So again, there's a lot of these different plays that were coming. And Uber. So with Airbnb, I think Uber, remember, Uber, Snapchat, Palantir, Uber. Does that sound familiar? You guys would make fun of me. Again, all of these were major. That's why I think it's hilarious that when you guys bring up the Snapchat as a 37% fail, I think you guys you've had a way worse experience here. I don't think you've learned as much. Because like I'm trying to show you here, I show you this for a reason. Other people would hide this from you. But where's our boy Oops? Yeah. I think Uber has the exact same timeline as, 2022. 5/9/2022, 2021. That's it. So Uber was exactly at the same time as Airbnb. You'll tell me about Airbnb sucking. You'll ignore the 200% on Uber. Again, JP Morgan was also that same time as well. That was actually right after leading into the Meta and Netflix. That was 2022 and so on. So yeah, I want you guys, but now we've spent enough time. You guys need to learn to let the portfolio speak to you, because if your portfolio looks different than mine, it's not speaking the same thing. Yeah, I know you were talking about the ones that didn't work, man. I'm not that bothered by it, but I'm trying to teach people. That's what you guys don't get. So the comment that I banned and the person who started this was Snap, because I was trying to show you guys how to pick the difference between Target, UPS, and Chipotle. Unfortunately, Snapchat is zero relation to it. So although you were trying to further the conversation, you were actually going to fuck up people's learning. Because that's what I'm saying. Then they're going to go back, and then that sets up a seed to really misinterpret everything we're doing. So I get what you're saying, but I'm telling you, I don't think I need better involvement from you or just silence, because you're going to probably hurt somebody rather than help. Again, I think you were the last time explaining Google was a good long term. You remember that? I do. And I disagree with you heavily, because you thought it was a good long term just because you bought it during the dip, but this wasn't even the criteria. Ironically, what I was just explaining to them is what you needed to learn with Google, and that's why you benefited, not because it was cheap. You benefited because you bought the momentum during that time. And I said you guys need to find the difference between deep value and not. So it's pretty ironic. But yeah, I'm good, bro. You'll be fine. Just like I'm saying, I'm thinking you already have a long term too, bro. You're good. You figured it out. If you're to the point where you want to teach the random chat, I think you're successful. You'll be fine. You don't need it. So don't worry. On fruit distributors, I'm not big into it. I don't know much. WestJet flight attendant union serves notice. Oh my god, it's already 10! I'm surprised, you guys. Is it because we already kind of had Philo? I thought I'd get more Philo comments. Dude, it's already past 10 today. I've been so late today, bro. What's happening? I see the Nissan news. I just don't. I think they're already fucked. I think the bond auction is gonna. Oh, it should have been at 10. I don't know actually. Fruit ain't going anywhere. Yeah, I just don't know if, I just don't know the metrics of the fucking fruit companies. That's a very interesting one. You know what I was looking at? Because when I was looking into Chipotle, I was trying to find their revenue by city, and I noticed that they had a supplier. So the company was private, but dude, there's a company that gets $6 billion a year just from Chipotle because they sell them the packaging. So I like plays like that, but they're the little auxiliary that's necessary for the big company. But yeah, you just got to find them. So fruit is kind of there. I just don't know much about it. In a weird way, I would take a packaging company before I would take a fruit delivery. But that's probably a really important intermediary supplier. So depending on who they supplied, that's probably going to be the value. Auction was tight. I missed that. I mean, shit, it didn't matter if I missed it then. If it did, I didn't even realize it's fucking 10, bro. So yeah, today's different, to say the least. Ancillary companies. Yes, I think that's your exact definition. All right, man. Let's go to Philo. It should take you there. If not, maybe it's not meant to be, but yeah, man. Game time. So God bless you, Chad. Get a long-term, man. Be stable. Don't be radical. Don't be extreme. Get the journey started. Get some diversification. Amen. And the Lord is with you. You're a child of the light. Remember, bro, you ain't got to do anything too wild. Just little by little. And live for yourself, man. Okay? Stop working for people's opinions, ideas. Just work for yourself, all of you. And that doesn't mean you have an employer or not. It means you take care of yourself, okay? All of you. You live your life. You live it how you want to. I'm not even throwing a Bible at you, bro. But I'm telling you, a life lived in freedom and true peace is going to be peaceful, man. And I encourage you to put yourself in those positions always. And I will remind you. So at the end of the day, man, enjoy your day and enjoy it how you decide. Because that's what I've been showing you with Philo. That's what I'm doing with Philo. This is what I want to do, man. It brings joy to myself. It's just a gift that it could bring joy to other people. It wasn't meant to bother other people, but like I'm saying, the way you're not going to get bothered is by living in freedom, by living in the true decision-making power you hold. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody, bro. You be free, all of you. Don't let anybody tell you. Don't let the church people tell you how to live. Don't let the non-church people tell you how to live. You be you, bro. You be you. You won't get bothered. You don't need to get triggered. You don't need to get angry because you are free and you are within you. So amen, baby. I love it. I said it today, bro. I really love y'all, man. And that's why I don't care who your politics is. I don't care none of that shit, bro. I do care, though, that y'all live good. And for you, good for you. What do you think is good, bro? I want you to be happy. Enjoy your life. And I know it's hard at times. And emotions and depression, that shit is real. Because I see it, bro. It's hard to live. Look around. Especially when everybody trying to get up in your business and tell you how to live. So that's why, man. I really hope all of you, man, be wise and be free, though. Be free. So if you want to go to Philo, I hope I see you there. If not, I do hope you are free, brother. I really do. So amen, amen, and peace.